Yo, what's going on? It's your man, it's your boy, Mark Augustus. Listen, we just had another great live Q&A on the R.T.C page on Instagram. Listen, it was phenomenal. Do you believe in homeschool? One of the cons that was spoken about was that there's this issue with socializing. Well, my opinion is that there's no cons to homeschooling, and that there are other ways where you can make sure that your child learns how to socialize. Me personally, my belief is that all parents should be the leading educator in our kids' lives. That's just me. Which means we gotta step it up, we gotta accept the challenge and educate ourselves. Educate ourselves about things like finances and credit. Educate ourselves about things like health and biology and language and purpose and vision and you know what I'm saying? All these different things. Like, I got a whole list. I got a list that I'm not even done yet. But I got a list of things that I'm putting together that I feel like my kids, I don't play the keys, you know what I'm saying? Well, I do, but you know what I'm saying? My kids need to learn these things so that when they get older, when it's time for them to really apply these things and for them to understand these things, how these things work, they can actually understand it and nobody can pull the wool over their eyes. Nobody, you know what I'm saying? Like, they can't be manipulated. Like, there's so many benefits to us as the parents being the leading educators in our kids' lives for our kids. Like, come on. I mean, y'all could differ with me, that's fine. Let me know how you feel in the comment section. But in the meantime, check out this first part to the homeschooling live Q&A, R.T.C ministry. We doing this. We doing this thing. We lit.
Good morning.
To the top, you came from the sky. You the most beautiful scene in my eye. Now I could cry, now I could die, now I could lie. Down there with you and tell the truth, yeah. You deep as a tree, down to the roots. Give me your food, give me your juice. When I'm in pain, you the masseuse, getting me loose, yeah. You tell me who lame and give me the proof. That's why we gang, I'm banging with you. If you ever change, I'm changing with you. Through everything, I'm making it through. Ain't no price tag on our love. We pay the cost for keeping it true. Making me rise, straight to the top. You came from the sky.
Good morning, Pops. What's good? Good to have you this morning. You guys give me a few minutes. Let me invite some people to the live before we get completely started.
I'm only tired of telling you why. No need for ties, angels can fly. You making me wise, making me rise straight to the top. We came from the sky. You making me heal, making me feel. No one in the sky, you're making me real. Down for the ride, you came with the wheel. Your eyes still give me chills. Your interest comes intellect. Give me respect, you give me respect. I specialize in studying you. You be the teacher, you be the test. You be the best, relieving my stress. That's why we connect. Man, so much power, this knowledge of true love. We gotta protect. Everyone can teach me something. No fronting, your love is the best.
Wife, was good. Good morning, babe. Snacks, what up? Y'all, I'm just inviting some people. If you have any questions about the topic, you can see the pinned comment down there. If you have any questions about this topic, I want you to start asking them now. Hit the question mark button and start asking them now. I think we're going to have a great live today.
Making me rise straight to the top. You came from the sky. You the most.
So if anybody is on here and you wondering what amazing song is playing in the background, that's Wise by DeAndre Official and L.I.F.E. Stream that thing. Wise by DeAndre Official on the lines. Good morning, Deshaun. What's up? So it's like I said a little bit earlier. In a few minutes, Mark is gonna hop on. But y'all let me know off top, you know what I'm saying? Like, how do y'all feel about homeschooling? Me and him had this conversation the other day, and we were really like, okay, on the edge of like trying to figure out whether or not we should homeschool our kids. I just saw the documentary by a Nas documentary. Yes, Wise by Hero. See, the only reason why I say my name is because it might be a little bit harder to type in Hero. You know, you gotta type in the acronym. So you can just put Wise by DeAndre Official or Wise by Elance. You know what I'm saying? But stream that song. Stream that thing. Run the numbers up. Run them up. Pure love songs, man. Pure. You said I would consider homeschooling if there were other parents who also homeschool so we could do activities together. Okay, great insight. My wife, I don't know if she's still online. All right, babe, let them know about that parent group that we had a conversation about. I'm glad you said that. Let me turn the music down some. Actually, I can turn the music point. So yeah, my wife knows a group, and she gotta give me some insight. She gotta type it in or hop on to let me know what the name of that group is. But there is a group that she's connected to. I think they're all women though, because I think it's like mommy something. But anyway though, I don't know if they're a homeschooling group, but a lot of these moms have their children homeschooled, and so what they did is they created a network so that they can all put activities together. You know what I'm saying? So that's like they all get together and they put activities together, and you know what I'm saying, they come across each other, and they you know, I think it gives like the whole you know, village, right? Like the whole village aspect. Like you gotta be a village to raise a child. I mean, it takes a village to raise a child, right? So I feel like that gives that kind of aspect. Yeah. So I that does exist. It does exist. As soon as my wife hops back on, you know, I get her to chime in on that. But yes, there is a network like that does exist. It's good too, man. You know, you learn about it in one of your child development courses. Okay, yeah. I took child development too. I'm gonna stop saying that because I'm gonna be honest with you. Every time I say that, like I go back to thinking about why I took it. Like I didn't take it because I wanted to know anything about child development. I ain't had no kids. I knew it was gonna be a lot of girls in that class. I was in college and I was like, what class can I take that got a lot of girls in it? You know what I'm saying? And child development was one of the first things that came to my mind. It was like, oh yeah, girls, you know, they like children. So, you know, let me hop in the child development class. But, you know, I went in there looking for girls and, you know, came out with some information. I learned a lot in that class. So I'm glad I was in there. I wish I would have actually been paying attention. I probably would have learned a lot more. But yeah, I was I was in there for all the wrong reasons originally. So you said, okay, well, the group I joined into was just a group of more moms. Okay, I think that's moms. Just connected, and I believe they had a book club. Okay, so didn't they have an aspect to the group about homeschooling? Okay, in one of the Zoom meetings I was a part of had a mother that homeschooled her daughter all the way to high school. Okay, so tell me more about the aspect where like the parents were able to get together and like have activities with each other. I want to know a little bit more about that aspect of the group. Because I believe that was like the part that caught my attention more than anything was that aspect of the group. Oh yeah, also, y'all, I don't know how many men I have in this group, but we have um uh a leadership group that's made in on the Instagram page already. I'm primarily looking for men. And we have right now we have man versus male. I don't know if y'all know who DeAndre. See, I be wanting to say DeAndre because I feel like that's a better name than DeAndre, but I'm a I'm gonna try to respect the name DeAndre. It should have been DeAndre. Oh, your mama was tripping. Anyway, DeAndre Whitfield. You know what I'm saying? Like this dude right here. He wrote a book called Male versus Man. I hopped in on one of the lives between him and Devon Franklin. They were kind of talking about this book, and I got interested in it. And you know what I'm saying, got a few men that want to go through it with me. If you want to hop in if you want to hop in that group and you want to go through this book with me, or if you know a man who you feel like, you know, a male who you feel like ain't a man, or a male who can become more manly. I don't know if you feel like that. You know what I'm saying? Hit me up, let me know. Like we can all read the book together. I think it's gonna be dope. I just look at the it says how to honor women, teach children, and elevate men to change the world. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's gonna be a good book. If anybody wants to hop inside of the group, I'll buy the book for you. So it's free of charge. All you gotta do is hop in the group and let me know. And you know what I'm saying, we're gonna start having more planned meetings and stuff like that, so we can really, you know, become men. You know what I'm saying, like not just males but men. You feel me? All right. So it said she was given tips and websites to use. I honestly don't remember what site supports in person groups, but I know that she is Chia is a Christian homeschool site. A Christian homeschool site. Okay, so all right. That puts me more into, you know what I'm saying, the question at hand about should African American children be homeschooled. And so I kind of thought about this too. I kind of thought about like, all right, you know what I'm saying, what about Christian schools? You know what I'm saying? Are there do Christian schools have the same miseducation that public schools have? You know what I'm saying? Like, am I better off at going to a Christian school? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Let me know has anybody ever went to a Christian school? Anybody ever went to a Christian school? You ever visited one? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they have like much of a difference. I wrote down my pros and my cons to homeschooling or not homeschooling. I'm gonna read them when Mark hops on. He'll be on in a few minutes. But yeah, I want to know, like, is the Christian school safer? You know what I'm saying? Like, do we agree with that? I think research is important. Oh yeah, definitely. Heck yeah. You know, I'm wondering, like, you know, if anybody is familiar with the Christian curriculum, and if that curriculum, but I think it's better probably, you know what I'm saying, if I really get my heart like behind why I don't want to do it, really, you know what I'm saying? I like I said, I'm gonna give my pros and cons when Mark hops on. Okay, you say you think the Christian school can be more tell me why. Tell me why. I want to know why you think that the Christian school can be more dangerous. I am interested in that. I'm not saying that I disagree either. I might agree with that. Shoot. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Because if this country is known for miseducating black males and females, like and I stand strong on that point. Like, this country miseducates black females and males. You know, they miseducate everybody because I mean, if you was in a white school, you learning the same thing, but especially black females and males, right? So if this country is doing that, then I would imagine that to have a historical miseducation plus a religious miseducation will just really mess you all up in the head. You know what I'm saying? Like really mess you all up. So I don't know if I never went to a Christian school. I don't know what kind of the curriculum is, but I already have my thoughts and my feelings about the about the miseducation of Christianity that comes from preachers, you know, from churches, from local religious institutes. So I know if that's happening, you know what I'm saying, then I'm pretty sure that, you know, like in the Christian school system, the same thing is probably going down. You said I think that you have to be more aware of misinformation coming from worldly curriculums and possibly misleading kids in the faith. Let me know exactly what you mean by that. You said misinformation coming from worldly curriculums and possibly misleading kids in the faith. Are you saying that and just opposed to the Christian school? Are you saying that like I should be more aware of the misinformation coming from worldly curriculums than Christian schools? Because earlier you said Christian schools could be more dangerous. I want you to dive a little bit more into that of why you think Christian schools are possibly more dangerous. Good morning, Courtney. It's my sister. Good morning, sis. Great to have you on this morning. And so this morning we're talking about should African American children be homeschooled? Should they be homeschooled? I want to know your thoughts. I want to know your feelings. I want to know why or why not. Why or why not? Why do you think they should be homeschooled? Why do you think they shouldn't be homeschooled? And you can tap in. You know what I'm saying? Don't leave me on the live by myself. My boy's coming in a few minutes. But you know what I'm saying? You can tap in and give me your explanation. If you got a question about it, you can hit the question mark bar. You know what I'm saying? And send in your questions. But I want to know what you guys think about African American children being homeschooled. You know, I want to know how you guys feel about that. Okay. Sorry. Had to pause it for just a second. You said it's too much to type. Oh. All right. Okay. All right. You hopping in. All right. Cool. It's on what you want homeschooling to be like. If you want to tutor or teach it yourself, but I know it can be challenging. Unless you
There
don't
we
teach.
go.
Yo,
Ooh,
what
it's
up? What
dog.
up?
It's dog. It's dog. Hey. Yeah, man, like I did some studying, like some little light studying in my child development class this year about homeschooling. And we discussed like, you know, charter schools, religious schools and things like that. And got real interesting, but you know, public school in general is already dangerous.
Yeah,
You
I
know, as
agree with
far as
that.
the as far as the curriculums that are being taught, and we're still unlearning and relearning a lot of things about our own history. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like African American history is glossed over, and most of us get introduced to it during the civil rights movement, slavery. Like we don't go before, you know, the slavery time, so we don't
Yeah.
know much about ourselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I can only imagine the damage that could be done having that misinformation along with me being misguided in the faith.
Right. No, I agree
It's
with
like, you know,
that.
having somebody, you know what I'm saying? And children are so, you know, what's the word? They're not gullible, but they're so open.
Yeah, they're
It's like, you
sponges.
know,
They're sponges at that
it's
age.
like the
Yeah.
sponges they absorb. So it's like imagine not even just the teachings, but what they observe, you know, at a Christian school, like natural behaviors, things that they consider normal that really ain't normal. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, you know, they admire this teacher and they just, you know, can do no wrong. And then when they do wrong, they kind of, you know, they're like, oh, well, they did it. You know, I
Mm-hmm.
can do that. You know, they was out here doing this and that. It's like, I feel like at a Christian school, you're held to a higher standard because not only are you educating these kids in worldly things, but spiritually, you have to be, you know, upstanding,
Yeah.
impressionable. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's the
That was the
word. That's
word.
the word.
That was the word. I was like, I ain't trying to call them, you know, suckers and nothing like that. You know, these kids ain't dumb out here. But yeah, man, like it's like just the sensitivity of the children and like especially when they admire, you don't know who is gonna rub off on children. You know
Yeah.
what's gonna rub off. So you have to you got to move different. I mean, it's just like dealing with Sunday schools and everything like that. Like the people that you choose to lead, they have to hold themselves to a certain standard because you never know who's watching.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And you spending a lot of time in school, more time than
A
you do at
lot of time in
home.
school. I thought about that too, man. That's a lot of time. That's a lot of time. It's
Right.
kind of,
You know, more
man.
time than you do at home.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So, you know, it's a high, like you really got to, and like me being, you know, into, you know, the education field, wanting to teach and, you know, influence children, like you got to hold yourself to a higher standard because they see you as someone who can do no wrong until, you know, even when you do in some respects. But it's like the kids already hold you up to a certain pedestal because
yeah,
you're an adult and they see you to be wise and, you know, they already expect you to be there. They not expect it. They just believe it,
yeah,
you know, and I always pray that I could just be the person that my kids see me to be, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't, you know, my wife was like, you know, you can't do no wrong in their eyes. And I'm like, man, I hope I don't.
right, right,
Like, I just hope I actually don't. Like, if I could just live up to what they think of me, like, that'd be, if I get close to that, like, that'd be a blessing.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Because we know we're not perfect, but these kids have to learn and grow through that. And you have to be willing to, like, you have to be vulnerable enough to really be real with these kids.
yeah,
You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? So, a Christian school is even deeper because now you have to have a spiritual anchor to hold, you know, to keep you up, to keep you on point.
right,
Not just what you teaching these kids in the world. Now, spiritually, you guide these children, and we all know the consequences of misleading God's sheep.
yeah,
So that's if that don't put a bigger weight on you or bigger responsibility, like you should not teach at a Christian school
yeah,
or send your kids to the Christian school because you got to be even more on it. Because usually we separate the school from the
yeah.
church and you know
I
all of that.
know.
So when it's all in one, like you got to go just harder. You really got to like watch fine tooth comb through everything
Yeah,
because you got it. It's all in one, really.
yeah. My wife said, I really think that's too long to be in school, especially as they get older, they get less breaks, which shows you how the corporate world works. Really don't like that idea. And see, that's one thing I was thinking about also. And it kind of triggered it when Deshaun brought up, you know what I'm saying? Like they're at school for longer than they are at home. You start training yourself to like think that, oh, it's okay to be home. You know what I'm
You got to
saying? Go out
work.
there for 8 hours a day and be doing something that you hate, you know what I'm saying, and not be at home. Like you training yourself to not be at home. So I agree with that. I agree with that. It's kind of that's kind of how I feel like the school system is anyway. You know what I'm saying? It's you know, I agree with I don't know if you guys know anything about Dr. Umar. I agree with his assessment of most young black boys. It's a prison to pipeline. I mean a pipeline to prison school system for a
Oh
lot
yeah,
of young black boys. And then for the majority of other people who do make it through that pipeline, they're just workhorses. You know what I'm saying? It's like to get out there and be a bee. You know what I'm saying? That's all we need for you. You know. And I've just seen too many people, you know what I'm saying, go through school, go through getting their degrees the way they wanted it to, and can't find a job the way they want. You know what I'm saying, or in the field that they want to find a job in.
you know, you used to have a lot of you know back in the day, like our parents' generation and prior, and I always talk about this. You would learn crafts and skills.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you didn't. College wasn't the only option. You can come out be a plumber, be a carpenter, be a in some sort of an engineer, electrician. Like they used to do that. Like they took away, like Jesus was a carpenter,
Yeah,
just to be practical about it. Like we know we can do more than just go to school and get a degree. Like my biggest fear was getting a degree and never doing anything with it because it didn't apply to anything.
yeah.
There was no
No,
money
I
in
feel
it.
you on that. I feel
It's
you on
like you
that for
spent
real.
all of this money to get a degree that don't have much money in it.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
No,
it's
I
like I
feel you
want to
on
be a
that. I
teacher,
feel
but
you on
that's
that.
a humble salary. Like you got to have multiple streams of income as a teacher because you can't survive on a teacher salary. If you really think about it, you can barely
No,
survive off of that.
no. I worked in the school system. No, it's not.
You already know. Like they do, how you doing bare minimum for the max work and for the sake of the kids.
Yeah,
It's a true sacrifice. Like you be like, man, I'm not making much. Well, I wouldn't say sacrifice. It's a humbling job because it's like as much as you love the kids, like you gotta take care of yourself.
yeah. Um,
And if you want to take care of yourself a certain way, you know what I mean? Like, that ain't gonna be it.
he said my son just decided to go to trade school, and I'm all for. I want to know
Do
more
that.
about that. You know what I'm saying? Why did
Do
he
that.
decide trade school? That's interesting. I'm curious. I'm curious. I'm for it too.
If
I'm
you,
for it too. You know what I'm
if you
saying?
got
Into a
skills,
skill.
you got money coming.
Yo,
Yo, what up? What up, man?
Hey,
what's going on?
Not much, man. We kind of already hopped into the topic, man.
Nah, I heard a little
I
bit.
think it's still yeah. I think it's still appropriate, you know what I'm saying, to go our way. Let's we can still pray in, you know what I mean?
Y'all
I
ain't
kind
pray yet?
of nah, I
Don't be
just
waiting for me to pray.
I waited for you to come in.
Nah, don't be waiting for me to come in and pray. You pray before you
we
pray.
wanted you to, but we didn't want you to miss
Yeah,
it. We didn't want
Nah,
you to miss it.
nah.
So we was warming
You
up.
pray first. You had the Spirit come in. I don't care if I'm 30 minutes late. You don't wait till I come in to pray.
You know what? You're right.
I'm
Because if
just
this was
saying,
food, we
because
would have been prayed. We wouldn't have waited for you if
he
this
said
was
it was
food.
full.
exactly.
We would
So
not
don't
have
be
waited
waiting
for
on
you.
me because of spiritual food.
I'll be praying as I'm washing my hands to come to the
Exactly.
dinner table. Like, we getting this over with. As soon as you say dinner coming, we praying before we come over.
All
Like,
right.
don't even worry about it.
All right, let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and go now. All right, still, you know what I'm saying? Y'all want to breathe with me real quick? Y'all breathe with me real
I'm
quick.
ready. Yeah.
All right, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, sit in silence just for a moment. Father, thank you so much for waking us all up this morning. Father, I believe that you poured this topic into us from heaven, and we just want to be able to give you glory with the discussion that we have around it. Lord, guide everyone's hearts and minds towards you as they release their opinions. But Father, also bring whatever is inside of their hearts that maybe hasn't been said out loud, so that they can get that release right here. They can have the ears right here, and they can have the outlet right here. Father, I'm asking that the Holy Spirit will take over the atmosphere and speak through us and speak to us in this moment. I ask all this in the powerful name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
Well,
Well, she said, "That's right. Tell him, wife."
Thank you, Bree. I'm just saying. We put the Spirit of the Lord
over
first
here.
before you.
I feel convicted. I feel
All
convicted.
right.
Ebony, what's going
Yo,
on?
what up?
Hello.
Are you baking right now?
Oh, that's cold blooded. You gonna
That's
bake
We
in
so
got
front
a
of
dope.
us?
That
trade.
is so
You gonna
dope.
bake in front of us like
Crafty.
that?
Listen, I gotta make my money, okay? Because I got this degree. I got a degree
I ain't
and
mad at it.
need another income. No,
Right.
I see
Um,
flex.
I
so Christopher
want to
asked,
support.
I'm in Palmdale now, so you gotta let me know because pickup look a little different now, but we'll talk on the side.
You can
Um,
set it on the corner. I'll be there before it get cold.
no. So my son came to me a couple months ago and asked me how I felt about him going to trade school because I went to a university and I've always pushed like you guys need to go to college. And this is when they were younger though. It wasn't so much that I really cared whether or not they went to college, but I wanted that implanted in their mind so that they would start thinking about what they were going to do. I didn't want them to just think that they were just not going to do anything.
Yeah.
So he came to me a couple months ago and he had said, what do you think about me going to a trade school? And I was like, okay. Or no, he said, what do you think about me going to school for welding? And I was like, I
For
think that's
welding. Oh,
for welding. And I was like,
That's a good trade.
it is a good trade. I
that
said,
shit.
I think that's perfectly fine. I support it. And he was like, okay, I think that's what I want to do. I said, well, what made you want to do that? And he actually, for those of you who don't know, my son's a really big gamer. And he said that maybe a couple years prior, when he was in fifth grade, he met a guy online who was 17 and getting ready to graduate. When he was in Tennessee, he was playing at his dad's house, and he was telling him how he was going to trade school and like how it's not that long, it's only a couple years. He's going to make this amount of money, and then he's going to go back to do another, to get another certificate so he can do underwater trading or welding. I'm sorry, underwater welding and all this stuff, and he can make like 200,000 a year salary.
God, dog.
And so
Dang.
in fifth grade, my son then decided, because he still keeps in contact, I guess, with this young
But
man.
Chris wanted 200 G's a year in fifth grade. He
Come,
was
my
like,
son, I heard him talking on his in school, and he was like, honestly, he told him, he reminds me of his dad. He said, I want to make enough money so that my grandchildren's kids are set.
my
He
grandchildren.
went 3 generations
Woo!
Come
over.
on, come
He
on.
was like,
I like this kid.
Right? So
Dog.
he still keeps in contact, I guess, with the young man, and he's done with like his first certificate for welding, and he is going back now for his underwater welding certificate and or certification. And so Christopher is still interested. He still, that's what he wants to do. And he, and he was just like, I've been wanting to do this, but I didn't know how you would feel about it. I'm like, well, why not? And he's like, well, I didn't know if you were going to push for me to go to a university. And he's older now, so I could tell him, like, I don't give a damn. Honestly, knowing what I know now, like, I genuinely don't even want you guys to go to a university. If that's what you so choose to do, I'm going to support it.
right,
But I would prefer y'all go to a trade school. It's faster. You're going to have a skill that you can use that, people who go to a university, we get a lot of book knowledge, but I didn't even learn until I got into my master's program that when you graduate from undergrad, well, I kind of knew, but when you graduate from undergrad, you don't know nothing. You get a lot of textbook theory in undergrad. Your master's program, the reason why they call it a master's program is because that's when you actually learn how to apply all this book knowledge that you have.
You don't apply it
You
until the master's program?
Gotta use it.
wow,
you don't apply it until your
That's how to
Yeah.
master's
get their
program.
money though. That's how to
But
get
you
their
got to
money.
go through it.
exactly.
You have to have all these theories in your mind. I know all these different theories, right? But until I got to my master's program, I was like, oh, that's how it's applied. That's how you use it. That's how, you know what I'm saying? But master's programs ain't cheap either.
No, no,
Nope.
no.
You get what I'm saying? So I'm not against universities because I feel like they're like, I don't want my doctor to be from, you know what I'm saying, to like
Yeah.
not have one. So I believe that they're necessary for certain things. Like, so I don't like this idea or like this like on social media is being pushed, like to push people away from college and university. Like, I don't like that. And pushing everyone to be a business owner. I don't like that rhetoric because I feel like everybody does need to play their part. Like, don't tell people or impressionable kids that college is not necessary. Well, it is if you want if you want to be a doctor. It is
Right.
if
It
you want to
depends on what you're
be
trying to do.
a marine biologist. You're needed. Like, psychology, you don't want me to just walk in there willy nilly and have no idea, like it doesn't seem like it's a lot, but when you have somebody unpack all this emotion and all this trauma, you need to know how to package that back up before they leave you. Because if you're not skilled in that, people will go out and kill themselves. So
Yeah.
like there are certain fields where it's necessary to go to college, but and everyone's not made to be a business owner either, and
No.
that's okay, because if everyone owns business, who the hell are going to be the employees?
Right.
Who gonna
Right.
work for me?
We was just talking about that.
Yeah, I
You
was
know
about
what
to
I
say that. I
mean?
was just about to say that. Yeah.
Everybody can't be a boss, and that's okay too, right? Like, so I just don't like how it's pushed. I don't like how it's pushed, like to make people feel like they're not doing good or they're not successful if they're not doing it that way, But as far as trade school, I'm all for it because I feel like he can learn a skill, a very viable skill, a very necessary skill, and can support himself in a short amount of time also. So like mechanics and all these, you know what I mean? Like, I'm all for it. As far as homeschooling, I'm for it if it works for your family. Like, I don't, the question was about African American students being homeschooled. I don't think that's a bad idea, but I also believe that it's also important for them to go to school because even though, yes, it does kind of like position you to work corporate and all that, you still need to learn how to play the game. You don't have to necessarily like live your life in that way, but you need, especially being Black, there's just a way we got to move. You know what I mean? And I think being in school, it teaches them that early, but it is the responsibility of the parents to let them know, like, look, yeah, this is what you learned, but let me tell you the truth. Let me tell you how this is going to look when you go into the real world. My son just asked me, he said, Mom, am I going to use any of this? I said, you ain't going to use none of that. What you learned, you ain't using none of that. I'm telling you right now, everything that you're going to need to know as an adult, sad to say, you learned in elementary. You don't need trig. You don't need geometry. Plus one, plus
Facts.
two, count your money. You learned that in elementary. Everything you're
Right,
going to
right.
use as an adult, you were done with by fifth, sixth grade.
Mm-hmm.
I love
You
algebra.
doing
I
taxes
don't need it.
before high school.
That's real. You
You
don't need
don't need
pi.
it. So
Well,
you
you
really
make
don't. You
pies.
don't.
You can make pies.
But you don't need it, right? Like you don't. There's just a lot of things that you just don't need, and the essential things they taught you when you were little.
Right.
Exactly.
So like middle school, high school, all that information for real, it's really a waste. It's
Yeah.
more.
Yeah, I think middle school and high school is a great opportunity for kids to explore themselves creatively and to build, find out if they want to develop into skills or other trades. Because that's how it used to be. They used to have wood shop, metal shop.
Home ec.
Mm-hmm.
You explore the performing arts, the visual arts, getting the painting and dance and, choir and all that stuff. Like, I feel like that's, once you get the basics, you figure out how to creatively expand on it. But they've taken so much out of the schools in California that we forgot that that's what it used to be. Like, Mark and I come from a family that's very deep when it comes to, visual arts, performing arts. So like everybody singing, dancing, doing something, photography, like we do that. But it was a normal thing for our parents to have it in school. For us, it's an elective in high school. And then we finally get into it in college, like on a deep level, if we love it. But we should have already explored a few things by the time we get to that point. You know what I mean?
Right.
Right. Right. And let me
Can
say this
we?
too,
Oh,
man. The visual of having this conversation and you making that cake is dope. Um,
I was wondering if it was distracting. I think I'll hop off because it might be
I
distracting.
ain't gonna lie. I've been staring at that whole
no,
process while we've
it's
been
interesting.
talking.
It's like,
it hasn't been distracting for me.
I've been listening, but watching
yeah,
the
it's like,
cake.
I've been able to look at the cake and still concentrate and not have to, you know what I'm saying? So you
yeah,
good
it's like,
on my end. I don't know about them
Like
though.
that spinning part. I like the spin and spread.
That
That's
is
my favorite
fine.
part right
And
there.
Yeah.
that's spinning is like the dopest thing though.
And I had to learn this, right? Like
right.
this is a
That's a skill.
skill. I didn't learn this in college. I didn't go to school for any of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, see, I've always kind of felt like, you know what I'm saying? Well, not always. I used to, when I was young, I kind of grew up in the household of the, you know, go to school. You know what I'm saying? Like that was my mom's primary thing that she pushed me towards was, you know what I'm saying? Make sure you go to school so you can get a job and stuff like that. And
And she's charged us to see the finished product. She's gonna charge us to see the finished product.
oh.
So she jumped off. She was like, y'all can't see the whole thing. Y'all gonna pay for that.
Like, you gotta pay for that. You gotta pay for that.
Like I
So
said,
yeah,
it's a skill.
you know, I think what I think is important now is that we start trying to figure out what our kids love to do early. You know what I'm saying? I when I was growing up, you know what I'm saying, and you know, I want to go ahead and say this, like, if any parents hop on, like, we're not bashing y'all generation. I feel like, you know what I'm saying, knowledge is power, and every generation has more knowledge than the generation before it. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think it's nothing bad about that. Like, you know what I'm saying? I feel like we just got some resources that they didn't have and some stuff that they didn't have. But I feel like now we live in a generation where you can, like, see what your child is interested in, and you can find all kinds of avenues to push them towards that. That's
I
outside
agree.
of school. So I don't think that school is, same thing with college. Like, I don't think it's bad, but I think if you don't know that it's supposed to be an investment in doing what you love, then you're gonna get the wrong idea. And that's what a lot of us did. We went thinking that we was gonna find out what we love to do. You don't find out there. You know what I'm saying? Most people do not find out there. Most people found out before they get there, and then they get there trying to do something else. and be upset because they spent all their money on trying to learn how to do something that they really didn't even love to do, and now they in debt and can't even find a job in that. You know what I'm saying? That's worst case scenario, but there's a lot of scenarios. You know what I'm saying? It happens often.
I
Hey,
think you
so
got to approach college more tactfully because, like, just like you said, if you spend your primitive years learning about yourself and really like getting, like you said, exploring things, then by the time you get to college, you should know
It's a
exactly what your
benefit.
major
You
and
know what I'm
minor going
saying?
to
It
be.
becomes a
You know what
benefit.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people go to college, they never figure out what they major is, so they're constantly changing it, which is more money because you got to take more classes to adjust to that new schedule. But it's like, imagine like you knew I love taking pictures. So you gonna go to college to learn how to take pictures. Like
Right.
you already got your
You already
major.
know what
Like
you want to do.
like college should be tactful. You should have a game plan. Like I knew I wanted to get my general ed to figure out what stuck with me, and then from there it was like I loved all subjects in school. So I figured liberal arts was easy because it was all subjects. And then it became more refined, and I was like, I think I want to be an educator. So I just, that was my approach. But other people, they came in straight out. Oh, I want to be a marine biologist. Oh, I want to be a dentist. Oh, I want to be a, whatever the case was. And I feel like if you're not approaching college like that, you're going to be wasting
You're
time
gonna be
and
wasting
money.
time.
And that's not fair to you.
Can
That's
I-
not fair to you.
Can I be
wasted
honest
time
real
there.
quick?
I went and I wasted time.
Can
Go
I
ahead,
be
Mark.
honest real quick?
Yes, sir.
Ebony just said that all the stuff that her son and that all of our kids and that we learn, all the necessary things that you're going to use in your adulthood, you learned in elementary, right?
Elementary school. Yeah.
Got it in elementary.
True.
So if elementary is the time frame of when you really learn everything that you really need to know, then why wouldn't middle school be like trying to figure out what I can really equate that to. Well, basically be like your high school, and then high school be your college.
I get what you're saying.
And then college be your master class. The master class is if you need the extra knowledge and education of what to really do and all this stuff. Like middle school should be like your high school, where it's like, okay, you kind of figure this is the time frame, these next 3 years is where you kind of really figure out, and we're gonna help you to figure out what you really want to do when you become an adult. Or when you get to the point where you can really start doing things. And exactly. Yeah. And then high school, because a lot of kids are very passionate. A lot of elementary kids they're passionate at that time. Oh, this is what I want to do. And some of those same kids,
but they get in a bag in middle school.
But that passion starts diminishing when high school.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like
so high school should be your college, where all the things, like middle school should be like the beginning stages of everything that you want to do, right? So, for instance, one kid might want to be like, yo, I want to be a music producer. Another kid might be like, yo, I want to I want to make cars. Another kid might be like, yo, I want to be a doctor. So, you know what I'm saying? All these different fields, we say, okay, cool. This is what we're going to do. We're going to find teachers that can teach y'all on this, teach you on this, teach you on this. You're going to come during the summertime to sign up. So that way we got plenty of time to organize this. That way you get all the teachers that you need necessary to learn the things that you need to learn. That's the basic of what you need to learn for that. Then in high school, you start really learning all the other stuff. So that way, by the time you get out of high school, those 4 years, college is just either,
applying it.
Just not even that. Knowledge. Not even that. It just depends on what it is. Because if it's like doctors, then of course, you know what I'm saying? Doctors, psychologists, stuff like that, that field, health field, you probably need to go a little bit further. So cool, let's do that, right? Law attorneys and stuff like that, you probably need to go a little bit further. Cool, I'm with that. But if you're a music producer, you don't need to go any further.
No.
Because most of the stuff that you're going to really learn is from experience. It's not in music production and video production, all that stuff. It's not as much as learning as it is. Like, that's why I'm like,
the majority of the arts, if you want to be a chef,
exactly.
Go any further, you know what I'm saying?
You just got to do it.
It's just experience.
You got to do it.
That's culinary art. It's the arts.
And I love that she used the word
theory. That's the thing right there. Ooh, I think we just hit something. It's a lot of artists that's frustrated in school because they get held back from artistry. You know what I'm saying? And push towards careers that, because all right.
And then they be frustrated at jobs, like 9 to 5s, like me.
Yeah, because you know what I'm saying?
I got this whole recording school degree.
It's the black community, because I don't think it is, but I know a lot of black people who are artists that are frustrated in school because a lot of us don't believe that we'll be successful artists. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of parents are saying, we don't know if you're gonna be successful here, so you got to do this.
So go to school.
And you know what's
Yeah.
bad too?
I'm gonna make sure you become successful here.
And you know what's bad too? The type of artists that we do see successful, they're black, but they're rappers. They're not music producers. Yeah. They're not engineers. They're not CEOs.
They don't play instruments.
You know what I'm saying? Like they're not something more than just a rapper. So now most of the black people that you see coming up as like they want to be an artist, they just cling to rapping.
Yeah.
Because that's what you mostly see. And then the rare ones that you do see, that's like, you know what I'm saying? It's not enough of it to really see like, yo, that's what I want to be. I want to be the person that's on the computer, not the person that's in the booth. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need to see more of that.
And there again, that's why I asked the question about the African-American children, is because I noticed this too. A lot of African-American children don't grow up with people having the resources to like put you in those different classes to expose you young. You know what I'm saying? Like to have the money to put you in piano class at 4 or 5, to have the money to put you in dance class at, a lot of parents don't have that money. You know what I'm saying? So they take you to public schools, and public schools don't offer the same extracurricular activities that white schools offer. I know that's for a fact. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
The schools in Brentwood offer way different things than the schools over there in the Crenshaw area. You know what I'm saying? Way different extracurricular activities. You know what I mean?
Way different.
So we're not getting exposed to the arts, even, you know what I'm saying, through the school system. Let me read this comment real quick. Then I'm gonna I saw your hand go up. Just let me read this real quick.
We ain't on Zoom, so I gotta like actually do it.
I would say if they go to
it's like right here.
The teaching from home, they would definitely have the proper education, because of our experience in this life. We still need to be heavily involved in our kids' education. I agree with that, because they will have both the experience and the education. Writing ain't easy either, but that's a lot. Yeah, no, writing classes I think we can have too. And plus, unless the rapper has a ghostwriter, they be right there with the producer. But anyway, yeah, I know.
Quick plug.
Hey, don't do that to me.
That's what. Hey, we slow. Look, this is one of the reasons why I'm coming with dynamic voices, so we can explore the songwriters. We want to be dynamic. We're not gonna be just limited to one device. Like, you're going to be dynamic as an artist. We want to promote that, push that. And, you know, for the lack of arts that are, you know, we have, or should I say the lack thereof when it comes to arts in school, we want to provide that platform again, because it used to be a regular thing. And, you know, I really want to do this the right way. So I'm taking my time. But yeah, that's what we get into. We get into the lyrics. We get into the songwriting. Like, we don't just focus on the rap and the sing. Like, we want to get really to the meat and potatoes of what it is. What you talking about? What you saying? How we supposed to feel? You know what I mean? Like, and that's very important, because I feel like if you can write, whether it's music or lyrics, like, you can go really far. Like, you know how many of these artists are in their bags behind the scenes when it comes to writing music? Like, Michael Jackson wrote lyrics. He wrote the music. He has so many checks coming in from one song that you was like, wait a minute. He entertains on top of that.
And his entertainment was next.
Like, people don't understand like how deep this, how crazy this man's work ethic was. Like, y'all just see the performer. Y'all don't see the you know what I'm saying? Y'all don't see the credits. Y'all don't read the credits and see what it really is. And I think if we expose that, then that kids will know, hey, I don't need to just rap. Maybe I could write for somebody else. Maybe I can make my own beats. Maybe I can make somebody else's beats. Maybe I can learn how to do music videos, or, you know, get the visuals for the album with the photography or something like that. Like, we got to let these kids know, like, there's more than what you see on the surface that makes it what it is.
Yeah.
And once they, like you said, the exposure, that's most important.
That's what we need. It's
like,
more exposure.
Even if we don't have all of the resources, the exposure will be the starting point.
Yeah, I agree with that, man.
Does anybody know when, like, all this, like the arts and the welding and all that stuff was taken out of schools?
Not exactly. I just know by the time I got there, I didn't see it.
One thing I don't know is why. Like, why did they do
that? Now, this is not
that's a deep question,
but I've heard, you know, Dr. Umar Johnson. He's one of the people that I listen to a lot about the school system, and the treatment towards the treatment of African Americans in the school system. And he claims that it happened like right after the civil rights era, like right after that era, that black people had those types of jobs all the way into that era. They started taking them away from the schools. Because he said a lot of black people were you know, wielding stuff and building stuff.
Yeah,
We
You know what
were.
I mean?
yeah.
We
Black
were.
people had jobs.
We
Like,
had skills to pay bills,
They
literally.
took them out.
Literally.
They started taking them out, you know. So yeah, man, I agree. You know what I'm saying? A lot of his exposure, and you know, like you know, and you know, one thing I don't like is that a lot of athletes, you know, a lot of times I hear black parents like say negative things about children wanting to be athletes. Now look, I get, you know what I'm saying, that we don't want to have the stigma that we're all just athletes. I think that the reason why people get upset about that stigma is because athletes seem uneducated. You know what I'm saying? But they're very gifted. So the education that they feel like athletes are missing.
Man.
wait, say that again, because you went all the way out. Like it paused. It just froze on you.
Okay,
so you gotta say that all the way over.
So I've seen a lot of black people get mad at other black people for wanting to be athletes. You know what I'm saying? For children wanting to be athletes young. And I think it's because they feel like they're uneducated. You know what I'm saying? They become athletes. And it's like, you know, that type of education that you're saying that they need, they don't need. You know what I'm saying? They can excel in this area. But the thing with athletes is like, yo, some of the parents, you got to give them props, because most of the athletes that I've seen, like some of the really great ones that's in the league, and I watch basketball more than anything, their parents saw that they were athletic young and just kept pushing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was like, yo, you good at this.
And that's all it is.
And I feel like that's the mindset that parents are supposed to have about their children's gifts. You know what I'm saying? If
Right.
I see it, I'm going to push you in a direction that of the stuff that you love. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to try to make up a backup plan for you. Because what if you succeed at this? You know what I'm saying? Like, if I really believe you're going to succeed at this, I'm not going to waste time and money and effort to make a backup plan for
And
you.
here's the thing. They can succeed at it. They can succeed. That's the issue, is like some people, like people are so caught up in, like, and it's kind of annoying. If people are so caught up in this whole idea of security, of like, you got to have this job. You need a secure job. You got to be secure. No, you don't. No, you don't. I just saw
pandemic showed us how unsecure that situation is.
Yesterday, Jay-Z was saying that basically you should be able to live out your life with your skills.
Yeah.
I need to. I think I sent it to
I know
people yesterday.
What you're talking about.
Yeah,
it's not really about being successful. It's about doing what you love.
It's about using your gifts, living out your gifts.
Define as success. You know what I'm saying? That is my
said living out your gifts. He specifically said living out your gifts.
And that's what I'm saying. Like it's not. We so focused on because as adults, you get to a point where you realize like, oh, well, we got bills. This stuff costs money. So we start focusing on the money because, we got to pay these bills. And then we get into so much debt. Oh, well, I got this debt. I got to do that. So then what we do is we push out on our kids. You got to grow up so you can pay these bills. You got to grow up so you can, and we don't necessarily say that with those exact words, but we do that based off of how we raise them up. And it's what happened? You forgot about what you was like as a kid?
What I can do to pay bills. That's the only thing that was on my mind. You know what I'm saying? And so we got kids going to school for money instead of for passion. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, yo, I think
that creates a different kind of depression.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And I agree with Ebony that, you know what I'm saying, everybody ain't supposed to be an entrepreneur. Living out your passion don't mean you're gonna own a business. It just means that you're doing what you love to do. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying
I do want to say this though. You should be able to excel in your gifts or your skills, whatever you want to call it, well enough that you're not just bound to that one job. Like you can't go nowhere if you you know what I'm saying? Like you should be able to kind of contract yourself out. You don't necessarily have to own it. I mean, that by itself is technically kind of owning your own business, but it doesn't necessarily have to be in the sense of, you know, you just own some business that grows up to be an empire or something like that. It don't have to necessarily be like a Steve Jobs thing.
Yeah.
Right. You can just, you know what I'm saying? Just like, you can just simply just contract yourself. That way you always have a job. You know what I'm saying? It don't have to be anything more than that.
You need to at least own something. You know what I'm saying? Own a skill. And then and then I do believe, you know what I'm saying, as far as when you start developing your money and stuff, that you should own property. That I don't think you have to own a business, but it's like you're saying, you got to be able to transcend your job. I'm looking, and look, I already have believed that, you know what I'm saying, and I'm not anti 9 to 5.
This pandemic proved it.
9 to 5 is stepping stones. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to go through something. But the pandemic proved to me, you can't depend on that though. You know, it cannot be your only source of income. It cannot. They do
when
not
your
care.
9 to 5 turns into 9 to 9:30, what you gonna do?
Right, because it's no longer a 9 to 9. It's no longer a 9 to 5 now.
Wait. Y'all didn't get where 30 I was talking about. I meant 30 seconds. Not 9:30, not 9 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. No, 9 o'clock to 9:30 and 39 and 30 seconds, because you just realized you ain't got no job to go to.
You ain't got nowhere to go.
What you gonna do? Your job ain't pandemic proof.
Yeah.
Man.
Stocks. Okay, look, why you revelation? Boom. I've been thinking about stocks, and you just said it on the live. See, I've been wanting to talk to you about.
Oh yeah,
that.
we got to play that game too.
I've been wanting to talk to you about that. See, now we're gonna talk about that when I get off of here.
See, it's not even updated on my end, so I don't get to see none of the comments now. I just gotta listen to them. Yeah, I don't know why.
Yeah, you told me that last time. I don't understand. Maybe it's something to do.
Thing is, we gotta play. We gotta play the games that are presented to us. We gotta know how to play them, man. We gotta learn them.
No, you're right. You know, credit is another thing that we need to be educated on.
Our generational wealth comes through.
We had the credit guy on the podcast, bro. I felt like I was like, man, the one thing that he said, and I think it's good to be said on this type of live too. The thing that he said that got me the most was like, yo, we talked to a white woman, and the white woman said that her dad, bro, she said that her dad had been building her credit since she was 8. And I was like, yo, like, that's possible? Like, our parents could have been building our credit? I didn't even know, you know what I'm saying, that you could do that. And I did more research since the guy's been on. It's a real thing. You really can, and it's not even hard to do.
Because the thing is, so what I know that some people do, not all people, but what they'll do is they'll use their kid's name and the social, because that's basically how they kind of run your credit, I believe. So
that's
they
line of credit.
So you know what I'm saying, they do it because a lot of those companies, they don't really check for identity or anything like that. They just need a name
and there's no
social, and since you check it in the system, it matches the name, so it's like, oh, okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? So they don't really ask for like a verification of identity. So in a way though, that is good, because if you are responsible enough, notice how I said responsible enough, you can do that, and you can build up your child's credit while they 8 years old.
Well, that's
going
till,
you know what I'm saying?
Let me zoom in when I say this though.
That realm of that type of responsibility. If we never even get the challenge, we won't do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, we should be challenged.
Stop putting bills in your baby's names.
Huh? What'd you say?
Stop doing that. Stop putting the cable bill and the gas bill in your baby name. That ain't building no credit. That's just goofy. That's real ghetto and goofy. That's real ghetto and goofy. Stop putting the bills in your baby's name. Give them a credit card, so when they want something, you know you got the money to get it, but you put it on a credit card and pay off the credit card for their little PlayStation. Stop. The cable bill ain't gonna do that for you.
Yeah.
Stop playing with these kids.
Jay, what did you say again?
Messing with that extra job through our children's credit. You know what I'm saying? Like, no.
I'm sorry, I got triggered because my wife got did dirty like that before.
I'm glad you said that.
I was triggered.
That does happen.
Over here paying the cable bill. Comcast bill. They don't even exist no more. I'm like, how your name on a Comcast bill? You wasn't even old enough. She was like, yeah, I owe like some money. I'm like, but that wasn't your bill. You just watched it. You ain't your mama. They put your name in that.
Okay, so
that ain't cool.
Let me let y'all know. Like, I wrote down some pros and some cons that I have, like, for homeschooling and for public school. So one of the cons I got for homeschooling, I'll go with the con first. The only con that I came up with for homeschooling was the social aspect. And well, the conversation me and Mark had yesterday, you kind of changed my mind on that. You know what I'm saying? That there is a way to still have a social aspect. Like, we just talked about a little bit about piano lessons, saxophone lessons. You don't have to have private ones. You know what I'm saying? You can have those with people around. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people gain friends through those avenues, right? And I was limiting my thinking on thinking like, oh, only school is the place that offers those type of extracurricular activities. when it's not. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's definitely not. So let me get off that. And if any parent was wondering, like, if any parent's concerned about the social aspect of the child and going to public school, I'll say this. Then if the social aspect has anything to do with extracurricular activities, you don't need school for that. You know what I'm saying?
Before you go on,
Mhm.
I wanted to throw an idea of a potential con that just popped up in my head.
Mhm.
What about a potential bias in the chosen curriculum? For example, you basically, like, you know, they have certain, you know, there's a certain curriculum that you go by with homeschooling, but you control you basically control the standard. So it's like I choose what my kid wants to learn in certain respects. And I feel like that's why I was saying, like, well, that could be dangerous too, because, like, what if you choose to teach your kids certain things? Like, I think of it, the most general and easiest way to kind of address it is like, what if you taught your kid to have more of a racist mentality as opposed to like a pride in your culture? You know what I'm saying?
Well, that
Like at
happens
homeschooling,
anyway.
like what I'm
So
saying is
I'm
homeschooling,
just saying,
that it's
like,
gonna happen
that part
anyway. But
happens
like when you're
regardless.
homeschooled, I think it'll hit different if you're homeschooled. Like if that's all you're surrounded by and you're not exposed to anybody else or any other, you know, walks of life. So you just grow up with this mentality and you get out into the world and it's like, why don't nobody else think like this? Or why don't enough people think like this? Like you've been conditioned to think a certain way. And I think there's I think for homeschooling, there's not to say as a con, but there's a risk.
Yeah,
in
I
that.
think that's like so I wrote down some things that I think are subjective. You know what I'm saying? Like, so even the social aspect that I wrote down for the con, I put subjective next to it because I think there are, you know what I'm saying, some good things about a social aspect, which one of those is that, you know what I'm saying, you are exposed to more people from different walks of life that are going through things that you're not going through. You know what I'm saying? So that, but once again, you can find that at other places. You know what I'm saying? You can find that at other places outside of school. And actually, what I feel like you're saying is like indoctrination. I feel like that's a benefit. You know what I'm saying of homeschooling your kids, because I feel like they're gonna get indoctrinated regardless. I grew up in the South,
right?
And I took me and Mark was talking about this yesterday. I took American history and I took Louisiana history, and I grew up thinking that a bunch of slave owners were heroes. You know what I'm saying? Like I really had that mentality. It was indoctrinated into me. You know what I'm saying? Because I had to learn what they taught me. And believe me, y'all, if y'all think any kind of school system is racist, I've worked in the school system in California. Go to the South. Go to the South and see. You know what I'm saying?
Imagine what
California
history would be about.
Huh?
I said I could like you said you have Louisiana history. Like I imagine what California history would look like.
It's a bunch of slave owners being heroes. You know what I'm saying? It really is. Go ahead.
So look, so the other thing too is in the school system overall, in general. I don't want to say that just because, you know, like there's no particular school district that's not good or whatever. But look at what they teach us in school. So, you know what I'm saying? Like the indoctrination is unavoidable in that regard. Because
that's their goal.
Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? Like they already set up for us to fail anyways. So, you know what I'm saying? With homeschooling, you have more control over helping setting your kids up for winning early because of that. And you have more control over well, I don't want to say control, but you have it's easier for you to help your child with figuring out who to kind of associate with and who not to associate with, because they're not really because they're sponges, right? So because they're sponges, exactly, you're right there. So now you can get to your child's mind a lot quicker and help them to see, like, well, you know, like, and I'm talking about the good parents, right? The ones that actually love the kids, that really engage with the kids, the ones that's like, yo, you can do this, you got this, you know what I'm saying? What do you want to do in life? All that, you know what I'm saying? That kind of parent, right? So for those type of parents, those are the ones that's gonna be like, a real friend is gonna be like this, you know what I'm saying? And that's you're gonna get that to their mind before anybody else can. You know what I'm saying? So you can get
before
to
they
like
start thinking they got friends already.
like to one of these comments right here. It says that's why it's not their job to raise our kids. It's our job to help them understand stuff like that. But when they're gone for 8 to 12
when they
hours a
gone for
day,
8, 10
you know
hours,
what I'm saying? It's
right.
hard to be the
Who
main
said that?
raiser.
Who said that? Who said
You know
that
what I'm
comment?
saying? My wife said, Albany said that.
Shout out to Aubrey. Shout
You know
out
what
to
I'm
Aubrey.
saying?
That's what I'm talking about.
So
Me and my
that
wife
brings to
had the same
what
conversation.
you just said. You know what I'm saying? But it's hard to do that if they gone for 8 to 12 hours a day. You know what I'm saying? So
And we
not the
working for
primary
8 to
raiser.
12 hours a day. If they at school and we working and it overlaps, it's like it was days I would see my dad twice a week, and we live in the same household every day. We in the same, like, don't even cross paths. Like, it was like go a whole week, see him on Saturday, be like, dang, I ain't seen this man in all week.
Yeah.
Because either I've been at school or he been at work.
So then now our conversations are small talk. You know what I'm saying? I gotta say, well, how's school going? How's it? You know what I'm saying?
How's work?
Right. It ain't going that far.
And that's literally like what happened though. That's literally what happened. Like, we crossed paths and it was like, man, I ain't seen you all week. I know. And then we just moved on. I'm off to what I'm doing and he off to bit. Like, a whole week of not seeing each other. When we finally catch up, the conversation was, man, I ain't seen you.
Right, and that's it.
You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy that's what's happening. So one of the pros I got, my list of pros right here, I have you have more protection at home. You know what I'm saying, from the kids and the teachers. There's
for real.
Listen,
I ain't heard of no mass shootings going on at home.
Bro, none of that ain't gonna happen. If I come home, I ain't gonna come home and shoot up my house. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, some parents do that, but you know what
right.
I'm
I'm about to say the good ones, the ones that love their house.
Right.
They ain't
we don't say
that.
typically. You don't say
I ain't gotta worry
typically.
about a student doing it. You know what I'm saying? That's
Homeschooling. You don't worry about the virus spreading at home because you already at home. It's contained.
Exactly. I got less danger of COVID. I ain't even think about that. I got less danger of COVID though.
You ain't got to worry about your kids eating like trash because they at home eating what's at home, because we got food at home. Literally, we got food at home.
No pedophiles. You know what I'm saying? No teachers trying to have sex with my kids and stuff like that. You know
Sensitive.
what I'm saying? I ain't got to deal with that.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I'm saying?
Look. Mark look. He know. He already know. I think he know what I'm thinking.
Teachers
like, wait a minute.
On it. Man, teachers be
it's
on
deep.
it.
That was deep topic.
Man, listen. Check this out. Back when we was in high school, teachers was having sex with kids then.
Bro,
you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. Like, so.
You know what I'm saying?
I had no kind of.
I literally remember there was a report on the news, that a 13-year-old had sex with a teacher.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying? Like, they put that on the teacher. Like, yo, like, she got fired and everything. Like, it's
we not.
Come on, man.
Okay, so my issue with that is y'all don't hold the kids accountable too, like they don't know what they're doing. I'm not saying jump on their heads. I'm saying don't make it seem like the adults are that influential. It's just they took advantage, so they get the harsher punishment. But that child needs to be spoken to as well. To even allow that in that aspect.
But so first and foremost, we don't really know the condition of that child's home. And secondly, at the end of the day, it's still on the adult because she's the adult.
I agree, but we be treating these kids like it's like, okay, you know, teenage years is that weird phase where it's like, okay, young adult. It's like you have an understanding on certain things, and yes, based on the way you've grown up, your opinion on things may be a little different. And adults are adults, and they should, you know, they're looked to a certain way. So I understand that aspect, but I always looked at it like this. If I'm 15, 16, 17, and I'm attracted to one of my teachers and I got a chance to go at it, am I going to see that as a bad thing as that age? No. Everybody else is going to look at it and be like, especially as a guy, we going to look at it as, oh, I'm bagging an older John. Like, oh, that's what's up. Like, you know, we going to be proud about that on the low.
But that's why it's on the adult, bro. But that's why it's on the adult.
Right. Agreed. But at the same time, we have to understand, like, you know, the kids are brought up a certain way to feel comfortable enough to understand it's okay. And you got kids who are so mature that they intentionally move that way.
All right, I'm gonna say,
you know what I'm saying? Like, these kids ain't stupid. These kids are not dumb. These kids ain't dumb.
I ain't gonna say that they stupid, but I'm gonna say this: like, in any situation where you can obviously see that one side is the manipulator of the situation, you know what I'm saying, and one has more
Right.
responsibility than the other one, you place the blame on the one who had the responsibility. If a parent rapes their
I agree.
child, if a parent
I
starts
agree.
having sex with their child, I'm not gonna blame the child. You know what I'm saying? I'm blaming the parent,
Right.
even if I don't
Oh,
care what
I'm
the
not
child
saying I'm
knows.
blaming the kids though. I want to make that very clear. I'm not saying I'm blaming the kids. I'm just saying some of these kids know exactly what they're getting into, and they just found somebody that was willing to bring themselves down to that level.
So I
to
still
run
blame
with.
the person who came down. You know?
Yeah.
Exactly. It's that, like I said, it doesn't change that. I was just acknowledging the thought process because it doesn't get talked about that these kids know what they're doing too.
I mean, look, I
And
gotta.
it's sad that somebody comes down from that. It's sad that people, go with.
I already on. Just look, just know we on the same side, Bree. What's up, sis? What up? Me and Bree be on the same side all day.
all I'm gonna say is that putting that kind of responsibility on someone whose brain capacity can't even get to that level as an adult is a little unfair, because we have the understanding and the experience to know what's right and what's wrong. I mean, they do as well, but our concept is a little more different. If I know a child that's 15 and he's looking at me like a grown man, I'm going to tell him pump his brakes, because that's not okay. And he's probably confused, and there's probably something going on in the home that needs to be more addressed with a therapist. That needs to be more on that kick, not just saying, oh, like that R. Kelly stuff. Well, that's that girl's fault. She knew what she was doing. No, she really didn't.
Oh yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, that's why I'm saying I'm not blaming the child. I'm just simply stating that some of these kids are aware, but as the adult, you have to understand, like you were saying, that this is a child, and like there's something else that may be going on that may, you know what I'm saying? Like I agree with that. Like I was, I didn't want to make it seem like I'm saying, oh, well, that kid knew what he was doing. It's like it's still a child coming from a child's place.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, that's the main thing. And it's like, yes, you can make certain decisions, but at the same time, the adult is supposed to be the adult, literally supposed to be the bigger person. And it's like for you to take advantage of that is a form of manipulation, and it's really it's a bigger issue on both ends.
Yeah.
I'll say that
because what you gotta think about is the cognitive ability they have is not as long term as an adult. You know what I'm saying? So they might know I'm about to have sex with an adult and that is wrong. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm about to have sex with my teacher and that is wrong. They might know that, but the excitement behind that is gonna drive past the consequences. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's gonna drive, and the adult is supposed to be in a position to say, even though I know this is wrong, I know the consequences. You know what I'm saying? I know the results of this.
Because kids don't really know consequences.
Yeah,
they don't really know.
And on a spiritual level, they won't even know the soul
tie.
tie.
No idea what a consequence
is.
Look,
check this out. Even as adults, we don't
Even
always know.
Adults,
we don't really know the consequences to some of the decisions we make,
that's why
or the reward. But you know what I'm saying? So it's like, right,
right. And then you're leaving a child's mind to deal with the soul ties that come with that situation. Yeah. And us adults, that's a lot of people that really, to this day, 30 something, whatever, still don't understand the concept of soul ties when it comes to, intercourse and things like that. Mm-hmm. And like, I was taught that early as far as like soul ties, watch who you slay with, watch, who you mess around and, fool around with, because it's really real. And I can honestly speak on a testimonial aspect of it. Mm-hmm. And it's like, to put that on a child, like, that's just, it's irresponsible, amongst other things I can't even really describe. So it's like, it's levels to it, but that is too much. In so many words, it's too much.
Yeah.
And it's like, and you're unleashing your traumas and, you're basically unpacking on this child, your traumas and your, issues and things like that, and creating problems with this child. And, basically just unleashing those spirits on and issues onto them as well.
Right. So that's why my point, protection. You know what I'm saying? There's more protection at homeschool. You know what I'm saying? So
way more.
I'm with that. So the other pro I have is there's no judgment about pace. You know what I'm saying? As a parent, you know what I'm saying? unless now we kind of talked about this, right? About I don't think we talked about this on here. I think we talked about this on a podcast on how sometimes our grandparents kind of mess us up by trying to put a different pace on our kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, they should be doing this, or you know what I'm saying? They should be right here, right? So kids got to deal with that with teachers too. You know what I'm saying? Like I have to deal with that. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, because you can't. I remember this really messed me up. I saw a video of a guy who works in schools for kids who have like bad behavior problems, like the same kind of system that I worked in, right? And you know, those kids actually take medication at school. They take Ritalin and stuff like that. And he was saying that, you know, he realized that he was trying to give a kid his medication, and the kid was like, no, I don't want to take it. It don't make me feel like me. You know what I mean? And the dude was like, no, you need this medication.
Oh, you did tell me about that. And the
kid responded to him and said, no, you need this medication. You want me to take it because you can't handle me. And the dude, messed him up. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I realized that, a lot of us went through school, and because the teachers couldn't handle our behavior, or the teachers couldn't handle, you know what I'm saying? Some of us, like I said, I went through most of my elementary school feeling smarter than the teachers. You know what I'm saying? They can't handle our behavior. And sometimes they can't handle, you know what I'm saying, our pace. And so they do things to try to confine that. You know what I'm saying? They do whatever it takes to try to confine that, because they don't want that to excel. You know, so I feel like if I'm at home with my kid, I choose the pace, and whatever areas they're not learning in, I'm not gonna judge them on them areas. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're gonna figure that out together. So I feel like,
but you can teach them and love them through those.
Yeah.
You can really hone in.
Right. Go ahead. You have to do that.
I was wondering if you was having the same issue. I was like, she probably
what?
She don't remember how to get out. There's an X in your corner.
Oh,
sis.
Oh.
Because there's an X in your corner. You can just hit that X.
Oh, that X. Okay, see the X. Okay.
I can remove you. I got you.
Too late.
Oh, that was hilarious. I was sitting there like, I think she like don't remember how to get out. So I was like, all right.
She's all like, I'm still here, you guys. I don't know why, but I'm here.
Like, I was just waiting till somebody say something.
We ain't trying to hold you hostage now.
Like, pace is one thing that I
think is a pro. I'm gonna say this. We do homework with both my kids. But Mark, so as a parent, you learn as you go on, right? Like, so certain things before you become a parent, you don't really understand yet. So as a parent now, I'm like, oh, I really see even more so, like, there really is a difference in your kids as far as like how they learn, how fast they learn, how they handle things, what's maybe the right disciplinary action for this one versus this one, because this one, they both maybe did the same thing, but the way they respond to the disciplinary action or method may not be right. It's going to be different. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, with Mark, you know what I'm saying? Like, I caught myself last night when we were doing homework with him, and when he gets to this point where he don't really want to do the homework, he kind of start acting like sometimes like he don't know how to do it, or he's like, well, what's this? And it's like kind of annoying. So I had to like catch myself. Where it's
I've
like,
seen that happen with my kids.
Like I'm getting mad now because you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, you know how to do this. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's stuff that he, like, I know for a fact he knows how to do it. Not something that he's really learning how to do. He knows how to do it. So it's just like, but because I remembered, all right, he had kind of at that point where he don't really feel like doing it no more. He just want to like go do other stuff. Because remember, at the age of like 4, 3, stuff like that, their attention is only on that for so long. You can't. Yeah, he kind of gets a little. Right. So like,
and it's not like it's a tablet video game with the homework either. So it's not entertaining for them.
My kids, the best way to teach them and the best way to keep their attention on something that they're learning is through like fun, through music, through art. You know what I'm saying? So it's like sometimes
all the
like,
stuff we didn't took out of school.
Even when I do bass with my kids. Even when I do bass with my kids, like none of my kids, and I know it's probably more so me. It's probably equally between me and my wife. So probably basically my whole family, we're all like that. We don't like our heads being touched. Don't touch my face. The only person that can touch my head and my face are my kids and my wife. And eventually, at a point, my kids might not even be able to touch my head. It's just my wife. If you ain't my wife, if your
like,
name
your
is like,
card has been revoked.
Listen, if your name ain't Jasmine Roberson, don't touch my head. Don't touch my face. Or if you're my barber, then you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. But that's because you got to do it. Otherwise,
look,
don't
as
touch
needed.
Right?
You got 10. You got 10 times.
So with my kids,
you're doing too much.
Especially Lennox, he really gives me an attitude when I got like wipe his face down and all that stuff. So sometimes what I'll do is like I'll play with him. Now he at this point where he'll be like give it back, and I'm like, and basically, but it's kind of like a little fun little activity that we do, engagement that we do, where he's like, give it back, and then I'm like, no, and he's like, give it back, I'm like, never. And that's the way that I can get through watching his face and his head without him giving me an attitude. But I have to remember that in order for me to kind of get through whatever activity that maybe they don't really want to do like that, it's got to be something that's fun.
Yep.
So I got to make it fun.
Me and my daughter, we drink water as a competition because she doesn't know to drink water. You know what I'm saying? So I'll be like,
my kids love water. I don't.
My daughter
that's all they ask for is water.
Yeah. So like I got to get a cup of water with her cup of water. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna drink it with you. You ready? 1, 2, 3. And we hit it. We take some gulps. All right, you almost done? All right, let's go again. Let's go. You know what I'm saying? We gotta keep going.
And that's dope.
And she'll do that with ease, you know, because she think it's fun. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When you make her drink it by herself, she be like she gonna throw up or something. Like, girl, ain't that bad. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to Creative Impressions. I like that username.
You know what I'm saying? But in the public school system, that's not your primary thought. You know what I'm saying? There's some teachers, let me say that. Some teachers do step out the box, and we appreciate
those.
You know what I'm saying? We appreciate
some have made the news because of that.
Yeah, but the system ain't set up for that. You know what I'm saying?
Have y'all heard of that teacher who used to he would teach his kids through through rap, like they would write rhymes about their subject.
Yes,
and they would do like a presentation at like the end of the week or something like that.
Yeah,
like that. That's what I thought about. Like a lot of the reasons why I learned so much as a kid was because it was fun. Like you had Hooked on Phonics, Sesame Street, Barney. You had educational programming. Reading Rainbow. Like it was fun. It was interactive. I learned it not because it was taught, but I learned it because of how it was taught.
How it was taught.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, and my kids, like they learned, oh my gosh, I can't, like Schoolhouse Rock.
Oh yeah.
Can I tell you how much you can learn like through that style of teaching?
Yeah.
Like you got the visuals, the music. They teach you basic concepts of like you can learn. They got government. They got math, science. They got like it's volumes. I don't understand why no one brought it back now. Like I don't understand why that never stuck as far as like throughout time and became more relevant and kept up with the times, because it's like in reality, kids can learn. Like I learned so much through that, or confirmed what I learned by watching those videos.
Yeah, I agree.
And I know some people that's actually trying to bring it, do it, but we got to promote that. Like we really got to push it. Like if we see something, we got to push it. And I think that's important when it comes to educating folks, or, especially, Black folks. Like we have to promote what's, good things.
Mm-hmm.
Like we'll promote anything else. We'll promote the latest song, the latest TV show, the latest fashion fad. Like we have to understand how much influence we really have. And it's like, we need to push positivity. Like we need to push like real stuff like out here.
Yeah, I agree with that, man. I think your wife, I know you said you can't see the updates, but Jasmine commented and said we teach Augie through play. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, play is important for the baby. That's very important for the baby. They learn a lot through play.
Because I really see it. Like my kids, you know what I'm saying, they rather play. And so and by the way you talked about music, it just really triggered my mind. I remember this. I used to always say this out loud. But now that you said it, it really made me think about it. The first rap I ever wrote was in school. You know what I'm saying? Was in elementary school. Yeah, it was for a class.
Yep, same here.
And we had to rap it out loud. And I remember that was the first time I had people head knocking. You know what I'm saying? It was like just the first time. It kind of stuck with me.
My dad kept 2 of my first pieces I wrote in 5th grade. I was mad.
No beat. You know what I'm saying? Just all acapella. So I remember that. You know what I'm saying? But think about it. So it's the same thing. Why would we train them to have to sit still for hours and hours and hours? You know what I'm saying? And then train them for that.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's like the same thing as that. Now I realize, like, even when you transition that over into the church, that's why it took me bro. I don't think I was maybe until 20, 21 years old before I first heard a pastor that didn't make me fall asleep. It took me, that's the majority of my young life. You know what I'm saying? Before I ever heard a pastor preach, and that I didn't fall asleep.
But
you know
I took falling asleep in church as a moment of peace,
Yeah.
and I was rested and relaxed. Not that the sermon was boring, but that I was in a place of rest. And so I rested I rested in the presence of God, and I didn't feel bad about it until my mom smacked me and said, "You should have went to bed last night." But that's neither here nor there. That's neither here nor there.
Bro, I was like, I was bored because it felt like school. I was like, this is what am I doing? Why would I? And then Vacation Bible School was like school too. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
oh, remember the pushes, Mark? All the aunties would be like snatching us all up for Vacation Bible School at New Hope.
But see, for me, I always had fun at Vacation Bible School though. But I guess that's why I had some good teachers and stuff like that. Like, so for me, you know what I'm saying? I'm not part of that group when it comes to like, oh, I didn't like Vacation Bible School because it's just
it was fun.
It was like, well, I guess like I do agree. It was like school. But for me, I guess my outlook on it wasn't bad because I had fun with the people that was there, and then my teachers that I had, as far as like Vacation Bible School was concerned, they were fun. So you know what I'm saying? It never felt like, oh my God, like, you know what I'm saying? So it's different for everybody. It's different for everybody for sure.
Yeah, I had some cool experiences when I was way younger. You know what I'm saying? Like with candy and stuff. Like when they add that, you know what I'm saying, to the program. Like, so I think though, like we gotta consistently, but we can use that also as a point of a testament, because if Vacation Bible School is fun, most of the time it's fun when they step outside of the regular school type of way of teaching. You know what I'm saying?
I need to ask this real quick. Since we kind of on what we on right now, and I guess that's why I could probably appreciate Mike Todd so much. Because he uses creativity every time to deliver his messages. So my question is though, wouldn't it be dope if we saw all pastors using some form of creativity? It doesn't necessarily have to be like visual. It could be, song. It could be dancing. But it would be kind of dope to see. Using more creativity.
I just saw part 5 and he freestyled in the middle of his sermon. Like,
don't tell me that.
Oh, my bad.
I ain't watched it yet. Are you serious? He's
over here giving spoilers on the sermon. I never thought I'd see today.
I mean, he was making a beat and he was like, use the Holy Spirit. Like it was about the Holy Spirit.
I never thought I would see today.
My wife was dancing and everything. I was like, this dude is ridiculous.
I'm watching that today. I'm watching it today. I'm watching
I never thought I would see the day that somebody would be mad about sermon spoilers.
Yeah, people.
Not a movie spoiler, but a sermon spoiler. Like, he upset, like you just told him about the latest episode of his favorite show and he ain't watched it yet. Like, nah, I ain't sat down and watched the show yet. Don't tell me nothing. I don't want none of y'all tell me about Game of Thrones
today.
That's
what I do every time, because I got a homeboy. Is he still on here? I think he logged off. Snacks.
I'll say Snacks?
Yeah. He calls me when he hears a Dope My Time message, and he be like, yo, Dre. And I'm like, don't tell me. He's like, all right, just watch the call me back. Like, literally,
I love that, man. I love that.
Well, now I
love that.
Same thing, man. Never make sure I've watched it first before you say anything. Dang, man.
His messages are that lit.
I love that energy, man. That is great.
I think that, you know what I'm saying, the criticism goes for both ends. Creativity is really the key, to learning. You know what I'm saying? It's really creativity. And so, so I didn't add that as a pro, but you just gave me a new pro. You know what I'm saying? You had the freedom to really be creative. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because your kid's best. You know your kid's better than anybody. So you know how to learn.
Question.
Another pro I have is that, go ahead.
When you think of your favorite teachers, was their creativity in teaching just as important? Like, does that trigger the favoritism more often than anything else?
Yeah.
Wait, when you say does it trigger the favoritism, what do you mean?
like as far as like when I'm saying like favoritism, I mean like when you think of your favorite teacher, you go, why are they your favorites? My thing is like my favorite teachers were creative in how they taught the subject matter. They were creative in how they approached the children and dealt with the kids. It wasn't systematic. You sit down, I teach, you listen, take notes. No, it was, you know what I'm saying? Like when it comes to your favorite teachers, were their approaches to the subject matter just as creative? You know, were they creative?
Yeah,
and how their
the
approaches.
teachers that left the most memorable mark on me were either creative or they challenged me differently. You know what I'm saying? Like they challenged me outside of the work that was presented.
Which would be another form of creativity. That's what I meant. Like,
yeah,
you know, that's I was trying to figure out how to say that. Just creative in their approach of learning or teaching or, you know, just influencing you.
All right. I mean, with the way that you're presenting creativity, I'm gonna just say, yeah, all the teachers that I can remember that like were my favorites in some way, shape, or form. They did something that was out of the box.
Yeah, that's creativity.
I was just telling Dre yesterday that one of my top 5, actually one of my top 3, I would actually put them in my top 3, maybe even my top 2 teachers of all time. David Garner. I'm never gonna forget his name ever. He gave out his number to all of his students. And was like, and this man is married at the time, with one, I think he had one kid at the time, and he's white. And he was like, yo, y'all got, but it was because he was outside of the box. He showed us respect that most teachers didn't really show students like that. He treated us like we were the ages that we were at. He didn't make it seem like, you know what I'm saying? So it was a lot to, but yeah, pretty much every teacher I can really remember, there was some type of creativity, I believe. I'm trying to think about my first grade. I mean, my kindergarten teacher, how creative. But yeah, everybody I could, yeah.
My kindergarten teacher just showed up, man. Like I remember Miss Washington because I saw her out. She supported me outside of school. Like she actually, like we had a Hallelujah Night event, which y'all know is like, you know, the Halloween, you know what I mean? So I had a performance, you know, in kindergarten, and she actually, like, it was only like maybe 3 or 4 people in there, but she sat all the way in the back of this big old church, and we had a big church. And I look all the way back in the corner, and she's sitting there listening to me recite my speech or my scriptures, and I was just like that stuck with me. Like she really supported me outside of school, and that really, you know, that stuck, because I'm like, how many teachers are coming out to your events that aren't school related?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like she came to the church, came down to 89th and Western, walked inside the room, sat in one of them burgundy pew seats, and watched me do my performance and confessed I confessed to Christ being my Lord and Savior at that time too. I was about 5 years old at the time, and she was there for that. Like my kindergarten teacher was that. Like I never forget that.
That's dope. That's
pretty dope. So I think, you know, so I'm glad you said that too, because that brings me to another pro that I had, was that if you homeschooling, then you get to be a part of the progress. You know what I'm saying? You get to be a part of all of their progresses. Right, so it's not like you know, depending on the type of household that you have, you don't get to see everything that they excel at. You know what I'm saying? Like every small thing, right? But if you're there and you're encouraging the progress, you're there to be the recipient of them turning in the new work. You know what I'm saying? Like you're there for every part of it. And I see that as a pro. You know what I'm saying? I see that as a pro. Do you guys see that as
it's quality time with your kids? That's a big deal. We've been talking about being away from your family.
Yeah.
So being there for the progress. Like my biggest fear is not, you know, is having to choose between work and my child's event.
Yeah.
Like that scares the mess out of me. Like I've been so traumatized with that concept because my father wasn't able to show up to a lot of my events. And I was like, man, Lord, if I can just find a way to be there for everything my kid. If they say I got to play, I'm there. If they got a game, I'm there. If they got this event, I'm there. Project, like I want to be there for everything that they want me to show up for and not feel bad about missing work, or just be able to be available like that because of what I wanted. It's like I don't want to be that parent who has to watch it on the phone or, you know, the re-recording. Like I want to be there on that recording hearing me holler and scream for my baby like every single time. I don't care what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like with homeschooling, you're already there.
Right.
Like you can't. I can't put. I can't tell you how priceless that is to be right there.
Yeah.
For everything. Now, sometimes it can be a little annoying because like you can't get away from your kids, but you know.
No,
that's where you have your adult time, and you know you have date night with your spouse or whomever. You know, y'all do y'all thing because you got to be grown too.
Yeah.
We got to remember to be grown.
But like that,
no, I'm learning that.
Yep.
I'm really learning like in a real way. Shout out to my wife, man. She held me accountable on some things. So like I said, there's a time for everything,
right?
And you gotta make time to take time.
Definitely. So like,
for real, I'm gonna leave it there.
Right now, I enjoy being part of the small things. You know what I'm saying? The small progress. It's like I feel like since my daughter turned 5, she say or do something new every day. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I feel like it's every day. You know what I'm saying? She understands something that I didn't expect her to understand almost every day now. You know what I'm saying?
Ain't that the best part though?
Oh, you understood that?
Ain't that the best part? Learning like what she knows, like learning how much she knows.
Yeah.
It's like you think she knows something, and then you be like, I didn't know that she knew that. Like just listening, like I just love listening to my kids because they'll share something with me every day. I'm like, I did not know you understood that. Forget what you knew. I didn't know you understood that. So now I'm like, I got to talk to them as if they understand everything that I'm saying at all times, even my inside jokes. And like, I got to talk to them like they really get everything and they don't know how to explain it. Mm-hmm. Because like, I got insight. Me and my wife got insiders. Like, I think that's a part of what keeps us close is we can just say something. I'm not going to give y'all none because I might have to use them on y'all one day. But, you know what I'm saying? Like I talk as if my kids know exactly what I'm saying every single time. Mm-hmm. Because I don't know what they've picked up on outside of us or with us.
Yeah, that's true.
And they, like I said, they amaze me every day. Like my youngest daughter, just the other day, she did an impression of her mother. About how she acts on a day-to-day basis because my wife was messing. So my wife was messing with her, and she was like, they were, repeating each other's statements and stuff. What you doing? What you doing? So my daughter was like, so first I'm gonna go do this, and then I'm gonna go do that, and then she sounded like when I closed my eyes, she sounded just like my wife, like word for word, like. And then I looked at her, and she had the same mannerisms as my wife would have, explaining the same thing. So I'm like, you really got your mama on lock. and my wife was looking at her like, don't act like you know me. Don't act like you know me. Don't do that. And we up in there cracking up. This was like just 2 days ago. And I'm tripping out because I'm like, my daughter's never expressed herself like that before because she's so in her head. So it's like for her to really do that, I'm like, this girl gonna be in a performing arts like when I say spot on impression, like the delivery, the body language, like I never taught her. Nobody's taught her that. She just knew. Mm-hmm. And it's crazy, man. I'm telling you, like children, man, they really like based off your last class, Dre, like children really are a gift, man. Oh, they really are a gift.
Yeah, man.
Like
definitely.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? And so once again, it's not something that I had written down, but you know what I'm saying? That being a part of the progress part, you know what I mean? It really, so like you mentioned it, someone mentioned it too. Like I've been in the relationship class, been teaching on like the glory of relationships, and like our first command was to be fruitful and multiply. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'm like, I've been kind of diving into like, okay, why does God want that so bad? And so being a part of the progress with your children, you get to see, you know what I'm saying? You looking at your own image evolve. It's dope. You know what I'm saying? Like
it's crazy. It's mind blowing.
There's no better feeling. Like you can see yourself evolving through another person. Like that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like I understand the joy God has behind that. He's like, yo, make more people. I want to see this. Like I like to see myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is tight. Like,
hey, can I say that was a real like egotistical, vain moment for God, but He earned that though.
I don't think it's vain at all.
But I mean, I get it. You like something, you love it, you want to multiply. I ain't got no issue with that. Like, but our worldly thinking, we'd be like, you just so conceited.
I feel like we call that conceited, but you should want to see more of yourself. Don't you like yourself?
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Look, man, I do. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I do like I go hard just for the opportunity to say I can afford to have another child to see if I'll get a boy.
You know, but see, what
I'm gonna be real selfish on that end.
what you said though, like really, I'm glad you said what you just said though right now because of that, like because I used to think like a thought process like that was kind of egotistic. I used to think like that too, and it made me like not really it made me kind of afraid to really step into influence. I'm not afraid now to say I influence people. You know what I'm saying? Like I on purpose influence people. I'm strategic about it. Like I want to influence people. I want people to be like me. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I feel like you're supposed to. Even in the scriptures, Paul said, like, be like us, imitate us. You know what I'm saying? Like, do what we do. So and God is big on that. You know what I'm saying? Be fruitful and multiply, be like us. So when you have homeschooling, you get to see most parents don't even really have influence over their children because of public school. They don't even have influence.
Yeah, because they ain't there. They at work.
You know what I'm saying? They influenced from everything.
That go
else.
back to what we've been talking about. Not being there because you working.
Everything else. So it say it should be balanced. Homeschool is good, but I think kids need to experience being. So let me know why you think a physical campus. So you said learn to deal with socializing. Okay, so we kind of talked a little bit earlier about that, and that. So I did say the social aspect is subjective because I think it is good for them to be in social aspects. But me and Mark kind of talked a little bit earlier, Chris, that there's a lot of avenues that we can take our kids to that's still social. You know what I'm saying? If your daughter wants to be a cheerleader, she ain't gonna cheer by herself. And that don't have to be at a school. I know cheerleading groups, you know what I'm saying, that operate at parks and stuff like that you can have your child to join into. You know what I'm saying? So
Chris, you know what it is.
You know what I'm saying? So somebody hold on. Somebody asked a question real quick. They said, what do you think about the concept of being humble? So I'm gonna say this real quick. The best definition I've ever heard for humility that I stand by is to know who you are, but never use that to oppress anybody else. Know exactly who you are, but never use your status, who you are, or your gifts, the way you think. Never use any part of you to oppress anyone else. And that's humility. You know what I'm saying? You know who you are, but you never use that.
I love that definition.
Yeah,
I love that definition.
Because I feel like we kind of been taught a different one. You know what I'm saying? That kind of makes
sense.
To think less of yourself.
Yeah, to think less of ourselves or be poor.
No, think all of yourself and understand it enough to not, manipulate it.
Let me broke. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. So
let me throw this in there too. Parents, I think. All right, let me say it like this. It don't come out the way that I feel like it might come out. Society, the way that things have been structured, it is almost like as if it was set up to almost be like a replacement for parents in a way. Mm-hmm. What I mean by that is, if you think about it, a lot of parents, we don't think about, let me find out what where the social clubs that I believe are most beneficial for my child. Because again, you know your child best. Everybody else in this world, you know your child best. So if you know your child best, you're gonna be like, all right, cool. The way that they socialize, that would not be a good fit for them. The way that they socialize, that would be a good fit for them. The way that socialize, that maybe depends. It might be preference. I'll expose it to them, and then they'll let me know if they like it or not. And if they don't, cool. And if they do like it, cool. And that's the thing, is like I think we need to be the leading educators in our kids' lives, not the educational system.
Yeah. And it's so funny, man. You saying that made me think about how I used to hear parents be like, I'll be glad when school start back. Get these kids out the house. And then I'm saying now I'm thinking about
and I do understand
them out the house
then? Listen.
Because you at work. That's why you can't get them out.
Listen, I do understand that aspect. I really do. Because I'd be like, man, I want time with my wife.
Eating up all my food.
Listen, y'all go to your room. I'm trying to lay up with your mama and watch some snowfall or something. You know what I'm saying? Queen of the South. I'm trying to have date night with your mama, and I don't really want y'all in here. Y'all go to your room. And the second that the room is cleared, the first child to always come is Lennox. Right. I'd be like, of course. Go in there. And she'd be like, well, he might want to say. I'm like, no, that's the point. Go to your room. You got a room, I got a room. I'm not in your room all the time. Well, I might be, but that ain't the point. I pay.
No, you know
I pay
what?
rent,
As
so I'm
parents
good.
and as dads, I think we should do to them with privacy what they do to us. So we need to be all up in their room. I mean, we should be doing it anyway, but I'm about to be all up on your TV, seeing what you watching, all up in your plate, seeing what you eating, all up in your closet, seeing what you trying to wear. I'm about to be all up in your business. Just if your door open, I'm walking in, just like you do me.
And it's so funny, man, because my daughter does
I'm
not
gonna do
like
you
that.
just
When
the
you all
same
up
way
on
and see
her
how
when
you
she
feel.
doing something, she do like the cute little nervous stuff, like like get away from me.
No, my kids be like, "What you doing in here?"
I'm trying to get away.
My kids be like, "What you doing in here?" I'll be saying the same thing when you walk in my room.
Exactly.
So I don't
But
know
see,
if y'all see all the
what's
comments.
worse is my door
I
be
don't get to see
closed
none
and
of
they
the
just
comments.
open it and walk in.
So the boy Ghost came in and he said, "Start
Oh,
my
that's
nephew
Ricky.
out." Oh, okay. He said, "Start my nephew
Hey,
out."
Rick, listen, bro. Listen. Let me tell you something about your nephew, man.
And Jasmine said, "Leave Lennox alone."
Oh, Martin the case. Oh
look here.
man.
My
Oh
son needs to learn some
man.
boundaries, okay?
Hey, Algorithm, I'm gonna tell you right now, we don't believe in locks in this household unless you paying bills. You ain't got nothing to lock. You ain't got nothing to lock.
No,
You ain't paying no bills, you ain't getting no lock. That's how I was raised, and I
no, my
stand by
kids don't
that.
have no lock.
You can close your door, but you think you're gonna get a lock, them hinges coming off.
You don't even get to close your door unless it's like
Right.
unless there's
Some
a
parents
real
don't even
valid
allow
reason
you to
for
close
that.
your door.
And that valid reason gotta really be bad, like
I'm glad
really valid.
my kids aren't at the age where they want to close the door yet, so I don't even know how I'm gonna deal with that. When I'm
yeah,
like,
mine are.
I can't imagine walking down the hallway like.
It's funny because actually, let me throw this in there real quick. It's funny because the only time that that my kids' door is closed by my kids is for two reasons. One, if they're playing with the door, which we don't mind it too much unless it's like, all right, y'all acting a little crazy now, chill out. Or when Lennox got a major attitude and he wants to close the door. And sometimes we be so grateful for that door closing at that time. Because we be like, man, look, you get on my nerves. Yeah, go ahead and close that door. And then he closed the door. I'm like, yes. Now we can watch the show for about 30 minutes
My
or
wife
so.
said my son is watching this now. Algorithm. Chris said when the time comes and kids are teenagers, they will lock themselves in. I know, man. I know it's
That's
gonna
why I
happen, man.
said the lock. That's exact. That comment was why I mentioned the whole lock
I know
thing.
it's gonna happen because I used to do it, man.
See, I didn't have no lock on the door, so I couldn't lock
Me
the door.
neither.
And I'm
I
not
had the
putting
little
locks on my
pistol
kids' door either.
doorknob where you had to have a key to lock it. Like the little old, like long key that they put on the video games. Like I had to have one, and I had a real old door. So it was like me locking the door was like a mission because you have to find the key to actually lock the door from both sides.
Summer Rose, the poet. What's up? What's up? What's up? Thanks for the engagement. He said when your parents unscrew the whole door off, he was laughing at that. He said, "I seen somebody do that."
Hey, yeah.
I've seen it happen to one of my cousins though. I came over one week and I was like, "Yo, where your door at?"
Dorothy's
And he was like,
home.
"Oh, he
No
took my
lock
door."
Who was that?
You gonna have to call me about that one, bro. I ain't trying to call nobody out. I can't call nobody out on that.
Jasmine said, "I'm
Cause
okay
yeah,
with
that was funny. Like one week the door was closed, the next week I walk in like, "Why you changing clothes with the door open?" I'm like, "Wait, where your door at?"
Wait, she said what?
He said, "I'm okay with the kids closing the door. I wasn't raised like that. My parents didn't care about closed doors."
Yeah, see, we was raised a little differently. My
mom.
We gotta talk about.
Lieutenant, what it do?
Except when I had a girl over the house, then she used to.
Oh, you definitely not closing the door.
You
definitely not closing the door at that point. Matter of fact, they don't even get to go in your room. You hang out in the living room.
I ain't
in the
bathroom.
bathroom.
All the way right now.
Can I be honest? I'll be honest real quick.
I'm not telling on myself though. I'm not telling on myself though.
I'm gonna share something real intimate, real brief. This exclusive.
_heavy D.
That's my lieutenant, y'all, at work. That's one of my lieutenants, man.
They said, "No way, black folks too loud. The kids can't focus." Gotta have the door closed. Yeah, I know. Me and my wife, we loud.
My dad actually closed my door.
I was expecting that man.
I forgot about that aspect. I know me and my wife.
My dad closed my door. My dad was like, "Hey, son, you a little too loud on the phone. I'm gonna close the door real quick because your boy, I can hear you in the kitchen downstairs, in the back of the house."
Go ahead.
And and as far as that girl thing, that honest moment, I was gonna say because y'all was like, "Oh, if a girl came over, there was no way my door's being closed." How about my dad sent her to my room? I didn't even want her in my room. he was like, "Oh, Deshaun cleaned up his room. It looked better than mine. Why don't you go look at it?" I'm like, "No, we supposed to be leaving. I did all of this cleaning to leave the house, not bring her. Don't nobody come up here. This is me." So I'm like, the first time it happened, I'm like, I don't invite nobody nowhere. I invite you to come over so we can go, not so you can come in. I'm trying to get out. And he like, "Oh, go see his room." They go to my room. I'm like, and then to make it worse, he tells my brothers who are in their room next to me to get out of their room and go downstairs.
Dang.
And sends me, and I'm like, "Why did you kick them out of their room? I don't even want to be in my room." And I was like, "What this man doing? What this man doing? Well, why is he isolating the whole second floor for me and the guest that ain't supposed to be up here because I ain't invite her up here? You did." I'm like, what's going on here? I'm confused. I'm not confused, but I don't like that. I'm like, we supposed to be going to get something.
He said Pops was the real MVP.
Look, he was. I knew what he was doing, but I'm like, that ain't how I wanted to play it out. I was trying to, I was trying to do me my way. You over here playing. I ain't trying to do that. I ain't look. That's
so Jasmine said, "Oh wait, this might have to be a whole nother live." Because
what she say?
Jasmine said,
"Thank you, Jasmine.
Just not in my room. We'll be sitting in the living room."
Exactly. Don't go to my room. Don't go to my room.
Wait, say it again. What she say?
She said a boy could come over, just not in my room. We'll be sitting in the living room.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Don't even.
Exactly.
You ain't coming upstairs.
You might not even get to go to the bathroom. If you gotta go to the bathroom, you might have to go to down the street or something. I don't know.
Oh wow,
yeah, bro.
That's deep,
bro.
That's deep.
I don't know when the moment is gonna happen that another male that's not her brother.
Right. I don't even know he can come in my house right now.
Step foot over the threshold into my house.
Oh, I done already played this scenario out about 10.
I don't know when that day is gonna happen.
And look, and I'll be honest, I don't know when another little girl can come to my house either, because I don't want my sons getting nobody pregnant. So I don't know. None of this.
I'm gonna tell y'all right now. I've been playing this scenario out since my uncle David had his first child, daughter.
My wife said, "Come on, Dre."
Like I done already got look. Hey, Ghost, you already caught it. I got Bad Boys 2 in my head. I got Den of Thieves moment in my head.
Yeah, me and Dre already talked about
both of them scenarios. And I got the Cosby.
Straight up.
I got we doing the Bad Boys. We doing Den of Thieves. I'm doing the Cosby questioning. What are your intentions with yourself? And my I'm doing the whole thing.
Hey, no. Hold up. He just mentioned Den of Thieves. Den of Thieves, I ain't gonna lie. Den of Thieves was low-key better.
That was how Uncle David wanted us to go down with it, though.
The Den of Thieves method is low-key better than the Bad Boys. Have you seen?
No, it ain't low-key. Like, that's how Uncle David wanted us to do Elon's prom. The same way Den of Thieves did it.
I'm gonna find the clip for you because it's on YouTube. The clip is on YouTube. I'm gonna send it to you later.
Okay,
that was a perfect depiction of what Uncle David wanted us to do with his daughter.
Talking about parenting is a hot topic, so I see that these are discussions that need to be had. So we might go back to that one next time. But so let me just ask y'all because I gotta leave soon. So is there any other pros and cons that y'all see to homeschooling?
I'm gonna say this. I just feel like there's no cons to it. That's just me. I don't feel like there are any cons to I'm gonna say it like this: to a loving parent that wants nothing but the best for their child, homeschooling. Now, if you got an abusive parent and all that kind of stuff, that's different. But as far as like parents that, you know what I'm saying, that actually love their kid, is, you know, all about freedom for their kid and all that, you know what I'm saying? Like that type of parent. And
that said no vaccines.
Bro, your wife just said no vaccines. That's
come on,
crazy.
that's another pro.
I didn't think about that.
I know a lot of parents that wanted to avoid that, but couldn't because of the school system.
Exactly. You can't
avoid
it when it comes to the school system.
Yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying? Like, and me and my wife, we've talked about homeschooling. We might revisit the conversation. I don't know, but I'm gonna say it like this. Oh no. I was gonna say this. The only con that I feel that there is to homeschooling is that the parents don't get paid for it. So you pretty much come out of pocket for everything.
Okay. We need some government assistance up in here, Crystal Stairs or something.
Yeah.
And I don't talk about like that. I'm talking about like
exactly how Crystal Stairs work. Yeah.
But I'm saying like they pay. Here's my thing. They pay for the public schools to run. Yeah, so why you can't help set up and give the option for the parents that want to?
Because they don't make money off of you homeschooling your kid. That's why.
Right.
It's not lucrative for them.
And that's what's wrong with this world now. It's always about, well, what can you do for me?
Right.
Instead of saying, let me help you out. What can I do for you?
It's the politics of it all.
She said that's one of the reasons why she wants to do
See,
it.
and her saying that, we probably gonna revisit.
But my thing is, you know, wow, if you homeschooling as a parent, I feel like that's an opportunity to really teach your kids the concept of entrepreneurship and business.
It is. Yeah.
Me and Mark, so you can make money. Look, we going recycling after this class, so we finna learn something. You know, we gonna learn how to make money outside. It's gonna be all intertwined.
My wife said that the Crystal Stairs cater to the single parents. Yeah, I know they do got more benefits.
We trying to keep these nuclear households broken, man.
Yeah, bro.
No disrespect.
No,
that's another conversation.
No, real talk.
That's a whole nother conversation.
I know parents who had to who I ain't gonna say they had to, but they chose to lie on their applications for government assistance because of the 2-parent household. They really are against that. You know what I'm saying? Like because the threshold, they still wasn't making enough money to really sustain themselves, but they had to even say they made even less to get the government assistance because they didn't want no.
We gotta pray about that one. We gotta pray about that situation.
Said study stocks together, teach them business and economics. We just talked about that
exactly
a little bit earlier.
Exactly.
And me and Mark, we talked about this yesterday, and I was saying like, yo, I didn't learn about finances until 3 years ago. You know what I'm saying? That's when I really started getting financial literacy. It did not happen at school. I took one math that was financial math. I took that my junior year, and I don't remember nothing from that class. You know what I'm saying? But no other class I had was on financial literacy. No other class I had. Like, we don't even know if a child wants to be an entrepreneur in school because they're not even offering anything to even explore. Just like we talked about exposure. Once again, I don't believe that everybody should be a business owner, but can we at least get exposed to it? You know what I'm saying? Like during the school system, no, there's not even exposure. They're not even expecting you to choose that route. You know what I'm saying? So,
bro, check this out real quick. Check this out real quick. Some people don't even realize what's in them to do until they're exposed to it.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So I think that if you have a loving parent, like you said, who's like, yo, I want to expose my kids to everything possible. And then once again, like I said, you mentioned this earlier, you know your kids best, or at least you should. See, that's the thing. I think because we send our kids to school for so many hours a day, we don't be knowing their gifts. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to figure that out. It's hard.
And we got to try to take time. Like, that's why it's important to take even more time. You know what I'm saying? Because of that. Like, you don't have as much time when they're gone.
Yeah. So, and then like you said, and like Deshaun said, if they got to go away from school for 8 to 12 hours a day, and then people got to work for 8 to 12 hours a day, how, you know what I'm saying? We might not ever see each other. You know what I'm saying? It might be very rare that we cross paths and really have deep conversations. You know what I'm saying? It might be rare that we get to eat dinner at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Like stuff like that might not ever happen if you have a household where, you know what I'm saying, people are separated. So I think that one thing I really learned about wealth in general is that it's really not about wealth. Wealth is really not about the dollars that's in your pocket, but the time that the money has afforded you to have. You know what I'm saying? So wealth is really about time. Time is money, right? So we really get wealthy to have more time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we should be getting taught how to make more money and have the time at the same time. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that's where stocks and passive income stuff come in, because you get money and time at the same time, right?
Let me just show y'all this real quick. I was going to tell you about this yesterday, but we didn't get a chance to get that far.
You get sick faster when you're in public school.
Oh yeah, I believe that too.
The boy the ghost said that that condition us. Your kids is a check. And everybody wants their alone time. I agree. I just wanted to read those comments real quick. Go ahead.
No, that's cool. So look, I don't know if y'all can see that. Y'all can see that?
I can kind of see it.
All right. So it says necessary education subjects. I'm working on a list of things that I believe kids need to learn as they grow.
Okay, I'm with you on that.
I'm gonna just read it off to you real quick. We ain't gotta like get into it, but just I'm gonna just read it off to y'all. So purpose, identity, vision, finances, credit, health, biology, language, and history. And of course, math. Math should be on there too. I didn't get a chance to like finish my list. I'm still working on it, but you know what I'm saying? Like those are things, and I encourage every parent that, especially the ones that are thinking about homeschooling their kids, come up with a list that you believe like if if somebody was to ask you, what do your kids need to know to live in this life? What would those things be? And all of those things, I believe, like, they're going to need to know. They're going to need to know how to work their credit. They're going to need vision. They need to know their identity. They need to know their purpose in life.
Yeah.
They need to know about health, how to take care of your body and all that stuff. You need to learn biology to some degree. You need to learn, language. Even try to learn more than one language. You know what I'm saying? And, learn
And then
history.
as a parent, it should make you challenge yourself now. You know what
exactly.
I'm saying?
And I feel challenged by this. Like, all right,
like, yo, I got to grow in these areas.
Exactly.
Chris said some parents don't know algebra. So look, there's some math, you know what I'm saying, that I have
that aren't necessary,
bro. Like I remember.
It just depends on the field.
Basics of algebra
me and my sister
necessary.
are like 8 years apart, and when she was in high school, you know what I'm saying, I already made it through school. I'm like, yeah, I can help you with your homework. She was showing me some of that math. I'm like, yo, I see why mama couldn't help you. It ain't mama's fault. What is this? You know what I'm saying? Like, the parents can't even help because they teaching them some unnecessary stuff that we ain't gonna use. I'm like, why do you need to learn it this way? You know what I'm saying? Arbany said, I agree. I want to learn multiple languages. See, yeah. But I think the incentive, if it's like, I want to learn multiple languages,
yeah.
Incentive can change.
Wait, say that one more time. Yeah. Say that one more time.
So the incentive can change to, I want to learn multiple languages because I want to teach my kids multiple languages. You know what I'm saying? Now you have more of a reason behind that challenge. You know what I'm saying? Jasmine said my credit was messed up at 21 because I didn't know how important it was. Because you didn't learn it in school.
Right.
You spent, you know what I'm saying, a 40-hour work week at school every week for 13 to 14 years in your life, and they didn't teach us that. They didn't teach us that.
You know what I just realized?
And we can't get a house without it. You know what I'm saying? And they didn't teach us that. Go ahead.
You know what I just realized? That you just said our kids spend 40 hours in school every week. That's the same amount of hours that you work a full-time job. So the real thing that they really teach them is just they're preparing them to mentally be okay with working 40 hours a week.
I said that earlier. They're training you to be a work bee. You know what I'm saying? Worker bee. It's the same.
Hey, man.
Chris said kids still gonna need external help like tutoring. I agree. Like what we talked a little about earlier, like to create a village. You know what I'm saying? Of people.
You can definitely do that.
You know what I'm saying? So I agree that they need tutors, but once again, let me choose the tutors. You know what I'm saying?
Right, because I need somebody that I know that's gonna really help my kid benefit off of what they're learning.
You know what I'm saying? Because in my idea, it's like I'm only choosing a tutor because I'm choosing somebody who just knows stuff that I don't know that I still think is important.
Exactly. That's why I said that the parents, we should be the leading educators in our kids' lives.
Exactly.
So that means I don't necessarily need to know everything, but I do need to educate myself well enough to teach my kid. And then whatever it is that I don't know, tap in with somebody that does know it. Find somebody.
That should be the natural way of the order of things, to be honest with you. Like for us to be the first teachers, we should be the primary teachers.
Right. So let me go ahead.
Like, period.
Finish your point, and I'm gonna say something. Go ahead. I want you to finish though. Go ahead.
Who?
Oh, Deshaun. I
was agreeing with Mark as far as being, us being the primary teachers as parents. Like, think about it. We are another sermon, another class we did, DeAndre. We are the first images of God to them.
Yep.
We're the protectors, we're the providers, the teachers. Like, why wouldn't we be that primary educator, that primary influence? We have to embrace that more.
Yeah.
And I think our outlook on life in general would change if we really understood the effect of what position we hold with our children, or what position we're supposed to hold. Like, they don't see any wrongdoing in us.
Yeah.
We have to try to live up to what they see us to be as.
Yeah.
They see us as these perfect, amazing beings, and we just be doubting ourselves, just disrespectfully, just saying we ain't this and we ain't that. And you know what I'm saying? Like, how we were saying before, like, who are we to say that we not what God told us we are?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
We pass that thought process down when we do that. You know what I'm saying?
Like Harmony, my wife, she just said tutoring is important too. I do agree, but I can also have a parent take a child development class and still have that set up to help them. True. You
exactly.
Go get the education yourself. And so
that's what I'm saying.
The boy, the ghost, I'm gonna say this too, because this brings back what we talked about earlier. So Mark, I think this might bring more answers to your question. I said after the civil rights era is when they started to take the trades out of the schools. The boy, the ghost said early 80s. You know what I'm saying? So he said schools became de-industrialized. That's the word. They started to take classes that taught trades like welding, mechanics, and took out home economics and even driver's ed. That's true. I noticed that there's a lot of kids now don't have driver's ed. I took driver's ed when I was in school.
I missed it by a year.
You missed
Never
it by
mind.
a year?
They canceled it after my freshman year, and I thought I was gonna be right in that thing.
No, I took it. So what you were saying, Deshaun, I was saying this, like, yo, family came before government. You know what I'm saying? Like, the family was established first. God didn't put a government on earth first. He put a family first. Government was family.
Right. I remember you teaching that.
The family is supposed to influence the government, not the government influencing the family. But we do backwards. We let our government call all the shots, raise our kids, you know what I'm saying? And family becomes secondary. But
realistically speaking, sorry, my bad. Sorry.
No, well,
that's the reason we break down the two-parent household the way that they do.
No, I was just gonna say, realistically speaking, the government don't even have the power we do. But because we empower certain things,
we give it over.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? We kind of give it over because, one, we're not educated, and two, we feel like because the way that they present things to us that they have the power, when it's like, no, we have the power because we're the ones that's voting them in.
Yeah. And they present like they have what we need. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, it's just like, so like Deshaun said earlier, if we realize we're the first image of God to our children, then we understand that, no, God has all the wisdom. You know what I'm saying? Let him pour that through you as a parent to your child. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And Chris said, trade school is on the back burner. Don't want us to build our own homes from scratch. You know what I'm saying? It's true. Like we're starting to shun, you know what I'm saying, those type of jobs. We need all that. We need a
part two because there's some more I wanted to say, but it's past. We over.
I know. I gotta go. All right, y'all.
There we go.
I love this. You know what I'm saying? Look, 3 black men talking about educating their children themselves. You know what I'm saying? This is a sight to see right now. You feel me?
This is my bag, y'all. This is what I do. I love this place.
For anybody that comes into the live, and anybody that even sees this on replay, I want y'all to understand, y'all are witnessing something revolutionary right now. 3 young black men in their 30s talking about educating their children. You know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't even 30 yet. You know what I'm saying? How old are you?
No, I'm in that thing. I was being serious. I was being funny. Okay. I'm proud. Look, I'm proud to say, back in my 20s, I used to. Okay, I'm proud. Look, I'm milking it. Like, yes, I'm 30. I'm happy to be. I don't want to go back. I'm good where I'm at right now, man. I'm present, man. I'm present.
I feel you. The boy Ghost said, "Bruh, janitor makes a solid living," and people be like, "I'm not doing that job."
Exactly.
And he said he want to tap in.
Man, you know how much money you can make cleaning up.
So yeah, man. Well, we are now more educated, but we are taking out loans we can't fulfill. Chris said that. That's school.
We got something.
I might go get me a cleaning job.
School. If you understand that school is an investment, but if you don't see it as an investment, you're gonna end up in debt. Whenever you put finances into something and you don't understand what the return of investment is supposed to be, you end up in debt behind it. So we don't understand.
No, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait till next. Okay. That's a whole. You just brought. That's a whole entire. Why did you do that? All right, I'm gonna wait till next week, but I need to write down my points. You said you want the point of investment, and then whatever I was gonna say. Okay, I'm gonna next week. This part 2 next week for sure. Like I'm writing stuff down because I want to say something so bad. Bye. I see y'all later. I'm out.
All right, love y'all. And the boy that goes, next time we hop on, just tap in with us. Just tap in with us. It's free.
Yeah,
free open space. All right, y'all. All right, Deshaun, we out of here, man. Appreciate your time, bro. Love y'all.
Yes, sir.